What's up?
What is up, mi gente?
Hola, mi gente. We're here. Happy Pride.
Happy Pride. Just jumping right into it with your agenda.
Yes, yes. The gay agenda.
I
All of
was
June, baby.
I was gonna do a bit right now, but you automatically stepped on it.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
All right, hey, all right. Welcome everybody to MiGente Show live with you on a Thursday here in your new hours. Sofia Carrillo, Luis Martinez, aka Big Chief Burrito. Thank you for joining us today. First day of Pride, as Sophia so brilliantly puts out. So I just felt something felt weird. It's like something's the month of performative, uh, perform, performative allyship month, as it is well known. A lot of corporations woke
Yep.
up a little get gayer today, right?
A little bit gayer. Yeah. A lot of rainbows.
A lot of
There's a
rainbows, a lot
debate
of
to
rain.
be had there. I feel like is it a positive or is it negative?
All right. So, because
We'll
we're not
jump
going to
into that.
left out of the conversation, let's go ahead and make this change here. All right, there,
There you go. That's
there
a
we
lot
go.
better.
Yeah,
There we go.
there you go. See, I had something
Look
planned.
at you. You prepared. You fucking
Yeah,
ally.
yeah, look at me. Look at us here, getting our LGBTQ plus. So
Hmm.
guys, girls, NBs, as you know, welcome
Hmm.
to the show. Bi, straight, gay,
Yeah.
pansexuals, the
Everybody,
whole,
everybody's
sh-
welcome.
the whole shebang bang.
Yeah, it's our first Thursday. How do you feel?
I feel like it's better than Sunday because Sunday
Hmm.
nights always was like wrecked Monday morning for me, kind of
Same,
that
same.
sort of thing. Hey, Lo from Florida, man. Thank you, Mr. Vegetable Man. I appreciate you for stopping by
Yeah.
as always.
Hmm.
What's on the agenda for today?
The gay agenda, lots of things.
The gay agenda is happening
Yeah.
today. Pride Month. So, Sophia, Pride Month. What does it mean for you this year? What does the performative allyship mean? What is kind of like? How do you feel?
It's weird because like I feel like I I like what it represents. I think that it's beautiful to have a time of the year where we get to be loud and proud and fucking have all the rainbows and shit. So I love it. I love that what it does for people that are closeted as well. I think that just like being able to be open and have a time of the year that is for you and you can feel safe is great. I don't like the performative aspect to it, as you said. Not so much from the community. I think that that's awesome, but from corporations, I don't know that I super approve of that. But I've been thinking about it a little more. I've been mulling it over.
Right.
Um, and I've had this debate a lot with my brother because my brother always says, "Well, they always get your money and like all this stuff." And um, I don't know. The thing is, what comes first, the chicken or the egg, right? Because marketing obviously helps move movements forward. It helps progress. So yes, a lot of the fucking Oreos and a lot of other corporations just stamp a flag on it and make a lot of money. But at the same time, is that not also helpful in moving forward and progressing the movement? Just by saying that people are being accepting of it and kind of making more of a worldwide movement as opposed to just a bunch of queers yelling in the streets. So I don't know. I don't like that corporations profit, but at the same time, I think that if there's profit to be made, the demand is there. Why not give it some supply? I think it's. So I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
I think that as enslaved section, as this day says, the not so gay agenda. And I love refracted light. Refracted light is the best. Um, I think that there's something to that because,
Mhm.
for example, let's take it's almost like quotas or that universities might do for a certain amount of students, etc.
Mhm.
At first they're done to sort of equal the playing field, but the long-term effect is that it actually can have some effect on changing the culture. For
Mhm.
example, maybe not as a great example because they're not doing as good a job, but there's something in football called the Rooney Rule, which means that if you're an NFL team like the Chargers or whoever, and you fire your head coach and you're going to hire a new coach, you have to interview at least one minority candidate before you can hire. Now, a lot of times this is incredibly performative because a team already knows who they're going to hire, and they're
Mhm.
like, well, let's go find a minority candidate out there so we can interview it, so we can meet the quota. The goal of it is to put more people, minorities, in these conversations with decision makers so that it can increase the thing. But it's sort of seen as not enough.
Mhm.
You have sports that are like 90% African American and minority, and they're getting coached by 90%, white guys, right?
Right.
So I think there might be some similarities there in that you're being forced to move forward, um, so that the extremes don't seem so extreme and you can start being more accepting, I guess,
Mhm.
would be a way. So I can kind of see where you're coming from, but it still sort of feels weird to be in that minority, whether it's, in coaching or in job positions or in schools for minority students, or in gay rights, LGBTQ plus rights, etc. Um, to have these corporations simultaneously marginally helping you by making it, by normalizing it, and by being more open to it, and by being woke, so to speak, and
Mhm.
blah blah blah, all this other stuff. But at some time, it does sort of feel annoying and performative. I think I
Mhm.
would imagine. I can't say for myself, because for some reason, what is it, like Hispanic Heritage Month starts in the middle of the month for some reason.
Yeah, yeah, who chose that? So weird. It's like we're running out of
Good
months.
question. Do corporations put the flag out for support or out of fear? Well, I mean, we put it out for support,
I would say profit.
but
I don't think yeah. I think
but
that oh, go ahead.
no, there is. I think that there is an element of wanting to be perceived as not doing anything.
Mhm.
I feel like um,
Pressure.
there's a perceived set of steps that you need to take as a corporation so that you're not seen as not progressive enough or not with the agenda enough, right?
Mhm.
So at this point, it would be weird that a corporation didn't make a pride logo.
Sort of, I don't know. I don't know that I super agree with that. I do think that it's become more like just society itself has become more politicized for everything. And so I think that with that comes the pressure for corporations to kind of like announce their beliefs and what they support and what they don't. Not, I don't think that that's unique only to the LGBT community, though. I think that that's like all around for
like
any
like
type
Black
of,
Lives Matter.
yeah, Black Lives Matter, even like if you're pro guns, if you're pro religion, anything like that. Like Chick-fil-A is very outwardly Christian. Right? Yes. So I'm like, there's a certain pressure from all groups, I think, to like announce yourself. What do you stand for? And I don't think that they would necessarily do it out of fear so much as profit, because the queer community, you know, they do pay for these things a lot, and so I think that that's when the shift happened. It cultural, not culturally so much as when it came to marketing, when they found out that there was actual profit to be made, because a lot of these corporations don't give a fuck about actual LGBT plus rights. They don't.
Yeah, Latinos are going
Yeah.
to the movies. Gays are buying products. Yes, gays
Yeah,
have a lot of disposable income. You know.
exactly. So I wouldn't say that it's out of fear necessarily, because, what do corporations necessarily need to fear is like what, getting
Mhm.
canceled. But even then, it's like, do you even get canceled nowadays? I feel like there's profit to be made out of cancellation. There's profit to be made out of really everything. I'm very jaded, you guys.
Yeah, no shit. I mean, how can you
Yeah,
not be in this world? But I do.
exactly.
So we are celebrating the gays.
Yes. I do think that it's like, I wanna say one more thing though. I think that we're living in a time where like a lot of the right is unfortunately wanting to ban books, and then, Don't Say Gay bill is, gaining traction and stuff like that. So it almost feels like we're going backwards, where we kind of like uh, already hit the peak of what society was gonna support when it comes to the movement, and then now we're getting some pushback.
Mhm.
So I do feel a little more proud this year than other years to be
You think
the
that
faces
the
of people.
that bigoted people see corporations and people getting behind the movement or jumping on the bandwagon, and then they sort of act out against it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that I don't want to say that ever since Trump, but I do think that there was a moment in our zeitgeist where the far right got very empowered to speak their mind, whereas
Mhm.
before it was kind of like living in the shadows, like these racist people did exist. And misogyny and everything did exist, but it was more so like not super accepted societally. And I do think that they just got very much empowered and kind of like, unionized. And so now it does seem like with, three ultra conservatives on the on the Supreme Court, it's like you're starting to feel, the what do you say, like the impetus of like we actually have to do something about it. And there's actually, I don't know, I don't feel safe for the first time. Does that make sense? And it's weird because like in the early 2000s, I didn't feel safe. I was in the closet. And I would have never gone to Texas. I could have gone killed, all that stuff. And I'm very lucky that I'm straight passing, quote unquote.
Mhm.
Um, and I'm bisexual, so I can date and marry a man and be totally okay. So there was a time where I didn't feel safe, and then for some reason, society just like went super left, and it was like amazing. And well, not super left, just pro LGBT.
Mhm.
And that's more so when I felt safe enough to come out and all that stuff. And it does seem like now we're back to like the dark ages. And now it's like I am starting to feel unsafe again, especially as a woman. Just basically with the Roe v. Wade thing really got me shooketh.
Yeah, for some reason they're trying to go backwards so hard, and it's
Yeah.
like, Republicans suffer from not giving a fuck about anything unless it personally affects them.
Hmm.
So, the majority of Republicans in Congress that or Senate that are pro-gay is usually because they had a daughter. Even then, what's the VP would, he was passing bills that were against his own Bush's VP Cheney was
Hmm.
passing bills when he had a lesbian daughter and keeping her in the shadows, and basically passing legislation that was hurting his own family. I never understood. I never understand that. Same reason I don't understand Latinos that vote for anti-Latino candidates.
Yeah, like Trump. Yeah.
So it's weird. It's weird what makes somebody believe in something. So there is that, but oh my god, they're just the devil. So what do you expect?
Yeah. Yeah.
Seventy
I know.
percent of the U.S. believes in sensible gun background checks legislation, yet somehow they don't do that. 70 to 80% believe that Roe v. Wade shouldn't be overturned, and yet you got these violent minorities, and the fact that they're taking over local things and they're doing this.
Hmm.
The don't say gay bill. Uh, the don't say gay bill. It doesn't necessarily say gay in the bill, but it also makes it very clear the conversations that you're not supposed to have. So kids in Florida get to have you know active shooter drills, but
Yeah.
they can't talk about Timmy who's got two mommies, right?
Hmm.
Timmy can't say, hey, I have two mommies in my like so
Yeah.
so I think the don't say bill is just shorthand for the fuck the gays bill,
Pretty
right?
much.
Pretty
Yeah.
much. So
Yeah. Sadly.
you think you think we've taken a step back, two steps forward, one step back type of deal?
Hmm. Yeah. It certainly feels like that, at least politically. And I don't know. I haven't done enough research on it, so I don't know what it would have to do with, but I do think that the alt right has been extremely empowered and sort of justified by the media as well. So
Hmm.
now we have some kooks in the fucking Senate as well, and it's yeah, so it's a weird time to be alive. It does. I do feel like society, and I feel like we're seeing the end of capitalism. What did I say last time? The
End stage
end
cap.
stage of capitalism, yeah. And so we're
Mhm.
living through that. The United States is a very young country, so we are sort of a social experiment to the world. And I feel like we're seeing the kind of ends of all of that, and we've gotten as corrupt as we could possibly get. So the middle class is no longer existent. I think we've been slowly going downhill for decades now, and so we're just kind of seeing the grunt of it all.
Uh, yep. I agree. It's
Mhm.
fucked. So we shall see. I mean, honestly, from my perspective, I don't think you can unring that bell. I don't think once you give somebody a freedom, it is incredibly hard to take that back. There's no, I mean, absolutely, they're going to attack gay marriage next. They're going to attack contraception. They're going
Mhm.
to attack
Sex
all these
ed.
things, all these things that we thought were just common sense shit that the
Hmm.
rest of the world is like, yeah, absolutely. Um, they're going to go after it, but I don't think you can unring the bell. I think that what's up, Oscar? Thanks for stopping by. I
Oh
don't
yeah,
think you
Oscar.
can I don't think you can unring the bell of giving people rights, whether that be through legislation or something. I don't think. I mean, abortion will never go back to being. There will be states in place and there'll be things to help that. What's weird to me is that the right wing has this, the great replacement theory where they're
Mhm.
afraid of getting replaced, and they're like, we need more white babies. So it's
Yeah.
almost like rich white women will always have access to an abortion.
Mhm.
The elite will always have access to an abortion. That's um but it would seem that making abortions more difficult is mostly going to affect minority women, black and brown babies, as opposed to
Mhm.
white babies. So that kind of seems a little bit weird to me. That they're that it they're both sides are hypocrites. The left and
Yeah.
the right are both they're both full of hypocrites. I mean, that's why I kind of like our logo as the black and white, because I think we do deal a lot in the gray area,
Mhm.
and that was one of the ideas I had for the name of the podcast, which is like the gray area, because we don't
Mhm.
delve into the extremes. We're sort of very middle grounded, or try to find the middle ground. But you can't unring that bell of giving people their rights, and I don't, and both sides are incredibly hypocritical,
Mhm.
and both sides eventually end up switching sides on topics and then switching back.
Yeah.
It's very transparent once you really start looking at it from an objective platform. So I don't really trust the people that buy in completely into the full right platform or the full left platform without questioning it. I think
Mhm.
I consider myself not a Democrat, but more of a leftist, socialist
Mhm.
right now.
Same.
Same,
That's my dog.
Uncle Bernie can save
Ah,
us.
yes. I miss him.
Let me see what say. The further left people go, then retaliation. Ultimately, the further right people will go. We just need to meet somewhere in the middle and stop being so confrontational. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think that. I think that anytime you move further away from a position because the other side is moving further away seems kind of dumb. If I'm being honest here,
Elaborate.
because like if you're saying the further the left people go in retaliation, the further the right people will. I think that means that both sides are being stupid.
Oh, I
If
see. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at it. I think a lot of the problem that we have between left and right is that both sides are seeing it as a battle, as trying to win an argument rather than real life consequences. People want to be right and win and have their side win the argument more than they want what's actually good for society to happen.
Yes.
So Republicans will say no to you know X amount of weeks of paid child care for fathers after a child is born, right? Because
Mhm.
they're like, no, you got to get back to work, blah blah blah. We don't need help. We don't want government handouts. We don't want blah, 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 blah. And it's literally something like, my wife just had a kid. I can take 12 weeks off.
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck
It
yeah!
benefits you. Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't want that paid for your. I don't want to. I paid for school. I don't want somebody else to. It's what you don't want a college student. You don't want a 30-year-old to have an extra $12,000 in their pocket because they don't have to pay a fucking college bills, and instead
Loads,
can
yeah.
spend that money in the economy at your store. It
Mhm.
seems short sighted and stupid to look at things strictly as my side is for this, so that's my position, versus what's really good for me. If more people literally, if you didn't know who wrote the bills, if bills and laws were anonymous, like you don't know which side wrote this. What if people just tell you, okay, this bill is going to do this, it's going to give you 12 months of paid child care leave so that when you or your wife have a kid, you can stay home with it for 3 months and not have to worry about work, and your job is secure. And you
Mhm.
didn't know whether a Democrat or Republican proposed that bill. Most people would vote for it.
Yeah. They'd be
If
like,
they
"That sounds
said,
great."
here's the thing, we're not taking away your guns. We're gonna just make it, we're just gonna legislate them like if it was your driver's license. You gotta
Mhm.
take classes, you gotta pass a test, you gotta, you got to do this. You need a fucking blah blah blah, and be like, yeah, I get that. That makes sense. But because it's pick a side,
Yeah.
It's like, no, we won't Second Amendment, no fucking blah blah blah, the whole shebang bang.
We are definitely very polarized currently, and I think that you hit the crux of it where people rather be right than to find a solution.
Yeah, people would rather
And that
have
is
their
our
side
issue.
win.
Exactly. Yeah.
People would rather be on the right side than what is right for them or what actually benefits them, which is
Mhm.
fucking insane. Because we're in end stage capitalism, and capitalism is predicated on all us dumb fucking poor fucks
Getting poorer.
imagining imagining that we are
We
not
could
poor but
be.
simply currently maligned future billionaires,
Mhm.
and that even though we're suffering now, we won't forever because eventually we will be rich
Mhm.
and the poor people's problems will be their problems, not realizing that the rich will continue to stay rich and we will continue to stay poor
Mhm.
and the working class will get fucked
Amen. We are
in
so
the
jaded, both of us.
in the ass, and not in a
Yes.
good day way, but in a
No.
bad.
Question, and I don't mean to segue too much, but how's the game going? I don't think we even announced it.
Oh yeah, so you owe me a shot. Let me look at the score.
Yeah.
Let me
Girl, I
you owe me
need
one
one. I
shot.
was like fighting it at first. Now I'm like, no, I need one.
Oh yeah. So the for everybody listening, Uruguay. I'm half Uruguayan and Sophia's Mexican. So Uruguay is playing Mexico today. We almost blew off the stream today to go watch it in a bar, but we decided to be good podcast and stream host. So for
Mhm.
every goal that Uruguay scores, Sofia is going to take a shot, and for every goal that Mexico scores, I'm going to take a shot. And
Yeah.
in the 49th minute, Uruguay is winning 2-0.
No! Stop it! Luis! Stop it! You're lying. Show it to me
No,
now.
como Uruguay no hay, baby. That's how we do it.
You are lying right now. We're 2-0.
2-0 right now is what I just saw on the
Two
scoreboard.
shots?
Two shots. So you can
Jesus.
just do one good one. You know.
Yeah, because I was gonna do baby half shots anyway, so I'll do one
Yeah,
one
yeah,
good one.
yeah.
All
Not
right,
not
you're
that
gonna
I want.
I'm gonna start
Not
slurring my words when we get to the very serious topics.
not that. Yeah. See, I'm gonna show because I'm not. We're not proposing. We're not proposing. Actually, I can't really show this because it's a streaming site, but it is
Oh,
2-0.
bummer.
You're gonna have to trust me. You're gonna
All
have to trust me.
right.
I'm not trying to snitch on the streaming site. Sorry. Trying.
Jesus. Alrighty, the shot is served.
The shot is
Vamos.
set. Dos goles de Uruguay. Let's go, mi gente. Show
Pinche
you the
Uruguay. Pinche Uruguay.
right
All
here, baby.
right.
Right here.
Jesus.
All right, there you go. There you go. Let her rip.
Alrighty.
Ooh,
Por
that's a nice one.
Uruguay. I know, it's a really good one.
That's a good one.
You're gonna carry the stream after this.
All right, it's
Come
fine.
on, Mexico. Come on. Fucking at least make
And then
one, damn it.
when Mexico gets it done, I got
I
shots
got
here for
tequila.
me as well. All
All
right,
right.
drunk
Well,
stream coming up.
cheers. Por Uruguay.
Cheers. Oh, well, hold on a second. What's going on?
Jesus. Oh, he went silent. Oh, perfect timing as I was
Uh,
gurgling.
no, stop here. Sorry. I had a tab that was playing.
Yeah, I was talking to you.
Had a tab that was streaming. Um, okay,
No
so
more.
that was Pride Talk here. Our first topic. Thank you
Yeah.
everybody that's stopping by.
Thank you.
Uh,
I just did a shot. If anyone missed it, I just did a shot.
all right. And Slave says if homosexuality, why did God create a G spot
Thank
in the male body?
you. Thank you. Enslaved by vegetables. Exactly.
I
Oh my
could see
goodness.
that.
Also, I was hearing the Adam and Eve debate of like God made one man, one woman. He's like, yeah, he just made one of them. And then they fucked, and then they were supposed to procreate with their children, and they were supposed to create more of a fucking society. So that means that incest is also correct. Fuck your brothers and sisters, everyone. Woo.
Yeah,
Why
yeah.
are we so against incest? If that, I'm just saying. I'm not trying to go
We're
for it, but I'm just saying that the Bible's weird. Okay, can we just say that the fucking Bible's weird?
Yeah, mother of civilization was Africa, right? That's where the cradle of civilization was. That's where we all came from. We all come eventually from one couple, so we're all part of one big brotherhood
We
that
all family.
they all
We
fucked each
all
other crazy.
family. Hey.
And we moved to different places, turned different colors, but we're all come from
Incest
the
is
same place.
best. Please don't fucking ever cut that out. That's gonna get out of context at some point. Shit.
How do you really feel? Tell me how you really feel about it,
I don't know.
Sophia. All right, 2-0 here. We'll check in afterwards to see how many more shots we owe each other after this. All right, so
Viva
that was
Mexico.
Pride Talk.
Yeah.
The biggest news this week, as we transition over, is we had a video regarding our conversation about the Amber and Johnny Depp trial.
Mhm.
And the verdict came in yesterday, and Johnny Depp wins. He wins the internet, and he actually wins the trial. He gets awarded $15 million, $10 million, and then another $5 million in punitive damages. But the punitive damage in that county can
It's a
only
cap
be
of
capped at
350.
350,000. So
Mhm.
basically, he wins 10.4 million. I think he also gets attorney cost in there as well.
But then also
Um,
Amber Heard won for 2
2 million,
million in
2 million.
compensatory damages, I believe, right? So 2 million, so then you minus that, so he ends up getting what, like 8.5, something like that?
8.5 million, and
Mhm.
then didn't she get like 9 million from him in the divorce settlement, or how much did she get from him? Because I know
I think so,
she said
yeah.
she got like 7 to 9 million from him in the settlement divorce. So at the end of the day, they might end up
Even.
even, because she was supposed to give that to charity, and she started to, but then
Mhm.
she stopped because he was being sued. So I
And
don't
then
think she's
also
gonna
she
get.
won the case in the UK, which I don't know if there was any compensation in that.
Yeah, I don't think so, or else we would know about it, I
Mhm.
think. But
Yeah.
the internet uh went wild. Um
Fucking A, man, they did.
uh
Jesus. The amount of people that think I'm on their side, by the way, I'm not on your side, Depp heads. Get away from me. Jesus.
they think you're on their side.
Yeah, because I posted some funny stuff as I was watching the trial, but it was just like some in real time thing. And yeah, they think I'm on their side. I'm not. I'm in the middle, you guys. I ranted about this last pod. I will do so again. But yeah, no, they went crazy. Do you want to play some of the reactions?
Do you have some of those? Are you talking about like TikTok reactions, or are you talking
There
about like
was a lot. No, there was just a lot. What was the gist of what you saw?
all right, so the main things that I saw were more about the reactions to the wait, hold on a second. I got some of my tabs out of order here. We're getting to it right
Mhm,
now. I'm looking more at like the stuff that came back. Okay, Amber Heard is broke due to mounting legal fees, lavish spending. Sources. Apparently, she bought herself like a classic Mustang.
mhm,
And then she's a superstar, so she's shopping all the time.
mhm.
Johnny's fucking his hot ass, half Cuban, half Colombian lawyer. Apparently,
Good for
there you
her.
go. Good for her. Good for him. Good for now
Good for
though.
him, yeah.
So she might be they estimate her net worth at between 1.5 and 2.5 million. They're not counting the money that she got from her settlement, unless she already spent all of it. She's got a house in Hollywood that's like $1 million. Oh yeah, she never made good on her promise to donate the 7 million that she received
Mm,
from Depp in the settlement. So let's say she got 7 million and she spent like uh she spent like a couple of million of that. She probably doesn't have that much left, like maybe 2 3 million left.
no. Oh, no.
Amber Rose, Alex money. That sucks. I mean,
Aw, man.
it's gonna be
She's
tough to get her
broke.
to pay. It's gonna
Bad
be tough to
timing,
get it.
bud, bad
Yeah,
timing.
bad timing. Um, so they're gonna appeal. I don't know how long the appeal process on defamation. The funny thing is that it's super hard to prove a defamation case in the U.S.
Mhm,
So the trickle down effect of this is what I'm most interested in, which is, you know, there's a lot of response because most of the Depp heads were women,
mhm,
right? Most of the hardcore Depp stands are all like younger female demographic, right?
mhm.
And they were justice for Johnny, and it's believe all women, but also we can't, believe horrible women
Sexist.
and this and that.
Mhm,
And this whole trial sort of rested on her proving that she was abused. And I think that she proved that she was abused, but what the trial said is even if she proved that she had been abused, um, she didn't have the right to talk about it and to defame him,
mhm.
right?
Pretty much.
I got my
Yeah.
tabs out of order here. I got my gun tabs before my amber tabs. So, how do you feel about sort of the backlash from women, particularly in terms of like, why are you celebrating this? This is actually a
Yeah,
step back for women.
exactly. So I feel I don't know, this whole thing just first of all, A, I'm happy
Yeah,
it's over.
let me show you this before you get that, because this is the one I
Okay.
was looking for. I don't think you all understand. He sued her because she called herself a victim of domestic abuse. Like that was the whole lawsuit, and she proved that she was indeed abused with evidence, but the jury took away her right to call herself a victim of abuse.
Mhm.
Okay, that's kind of like where the main argument was.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, so well, I'm happy it's over, first of all, because it's a fucking circus. I am starting to think that I don't know that trials should be filmed for the world to see. So that's a topic that I am on the kind of I go back and forth on. Um but as far as like what this says for women and Me Too movement and stuff like that, I do think that it's gonna cause for women to not be um
Believed.
heard, yeah, believed. And the believe all women thing, first of all, it's out of context. It doesn't mean believe all women as in like I can go say that somebody raped me, that someone who I've never met, and then like believe me. Like no, it means that throughout history women have been not heard, and so maybe hey, maybe we should hear them and start actually believing them. So it's more so about hear them out, like, you know. And so that's what the whole slogan is. It's not necessarily believe all women at the detriment of men and don't believe all men. Like, because especially something like sexual assault and abuse, those are sometimes topics that we were not present for and there will never be a sure answer for, right? It's very hard to prove. So I do feel a little disgusted by society. I do. I feel like we're living in the early 2000 Britney Spears time where we all, called her crazy, and now we're looking back and we're like, "Oh my god, we were so mean as a society. Like what's wrong with our culture?" And the Paris Hilton days and all that stuff where we just like belittled women and degraded them and then felt so proud. Like cuz here's my thing. Um Defamation, I can kind of see it. Like she did say all of these allegations, and if it's a lie, then that's a nasty thing to do, right? That could really harm his career. So I don't agree with that at all. I don't think that like she should be believed over Johnny Depp and all that stuff. However, um when they were saying the counts like on A, B, and C, uh they were saying, they weren't saying guilty or not guilty. They were saying false, true, or whatever. The verdict. I was listening to them, and the jury, I feel like they did what they could have,
Mhm.
in the sense that they were like, "Okay, did she defame him in this article?" Yes. I'm like, "Okay, I probably would have said the same thing." But then it was like, "Did she or did he basically is he did he sexually abuse her?" And they would be like, "No." That's where I get it. That's where there's an issue, because I'm like, all of those, like, did he do it? And it's like a straight no. I don't, as someone who watched the trial, I don't believe that there was enough proof. I also don't believe that there was enough proof for her to prove that she was sexually assaulted. I also believe that there is no way to prove that because we were not there. So it's a he said, she said. I think that it was a mutual toxicity and abuse from both of them, so I feel very just icky to my core saying that she's a shit person and she should, like, die in a pit of fire, and that, "Oh, poor baby Johnny, like, oh, he's finally free." Like, he's a fucking multimillionaire. I'm not crying a fucking river over him. Oh my god, now we're really gonna fight for his rights to be in a, like, multi-million-dollar movie? Like, no, that's not the hill I'm gonna die on. There's other shit going on. Um, I do think that the issues that a lot of people feel very passionate for are, we should also, men can be abused, right? Yes, I agree with that. Um, but for us to go from like the Me Too movement, where it's like women are having such a hard time being heard, to now we have a very beloved public figure of the man that is Johnny Depp, and all of a sudden we switch it. I feel like that just proves the point that like women are villainized because we love these men. And the fact that a lot of the women that I know would normally be hashtag me too are the ones that flip just because they love Johnny Depp so much is really disheartening. And it's like society is going to look back at this and I think we're going to cringe. I think we're going to
Yeah,
cringe at this.
it's
And
a it's a bad
uh,
look for a lot of the ladies that you
yeah.
guys went so full for.
Hmm.
Like a lot of girls on the internet, just like their whole personality. Like I saw somebody posted it, like, I'm sobbing justice for Johnny.
Yeah.
Like
It's like there's
like
people being killed in Palestine right now. How about solve for that? Care a little more about other
yeah,
shit.
yeah, like how and then this is the most overused meme, which was the remember this day as the day you almost caught Captain Jack
Yeah, that's the
Sparrow.
one that I saw. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Everyone kept retweeting
Everyone,
and I was
everyone, everyone was like, yeah,
oh
we
god.
get it. You're funny. You're funny. You're funny. It's almost as bad as the finally Amber Heard can say truthfully that Johnny beat
Johnny
her.
Beater,
Yeah,
yeah, saw that one too. Saw
that
that
was a
one
little
too.
that was a little. Um, so yeah, however you feel, whether you feel that Johnny is a god or that Amber is a turd,
Mhm.
whatever. I mean, Amber turd just rolls off the tongue though. Well, however you feel, it is. OnlyFans came with it. The time is now.
What time is now? Oh my god. Jesus.
I've never
I and
subscribed to
listen, and
her.
listen,
I've
I
never
think she'll be
subscribed to
fine as well,
OnlyFans,
but
but I've never subscribed to Only. Yeah, she'll get a job. Like,
yeah,
there's
she'll
no
get a
way.
I also am not crying a river for her. I wanna be very clear, I'm not also like, "Oh my god, like, justice for
Yeah,
Amber." Like, no, I could not give less shits about both of them. I just feel like the whole situation is very icky, and it was just a toxic relationship that it was like Hunger Games, not, in the sense
yeah.
that we were, like, being entertained by something so, I don't know, yucky. I just feel disgusted by all of this and by my friends' reactions and by the media, and I'm just like, "Ah, I hate this.
Yeah.
I'm glad it's over." God.
No, every time the last 2 days, because I had clipped that video of us talking about it, and I was like, how come more people don't have our take on it? How come most people aren't like, like, so I posted that as a reaction to whenever I watched that conversation when I was like, yeah, you might not agree with this, but this is kind of how we feel about it. The justice for Johnny thing is kind of like nothing. He's
Mhm,
a billionaire. He doesn't need justice. That's like saying justice for Donald Trump or justice for
mhm.
fucking,
'Cause he
like
got banned from Twitter or something. It's like, I
yeah,
don't know,
justice
dude.
for Elon Musk because somebody said something mean about him. No, they're gonna be fine. Fucking millionaires. And Amber Heard is worst case scenario for Amber Heard is she's got another 5 to 7 years to snag herself like a gazillionaire. She already
Yeah,
dated Elon Musk. You
right?
know, they already said that he was funneling millions of dollars into her campaign.
Yeah.
Um, but then I read something today that she actually got covered by her homeowner's insurance.
Oh, okay.
Your sometimes
Interesting.
homeowners, better call Flo.
Okay, okay.
Sometimes your homeowner's insurance can cover defamation suits.
Oh, we
Uh,
love Flo.
yeah.
Yeah,
So the toxicity continues, right? So
it
OnlyFans
really does.
jumped into the mix. Here's somebody from Twitter said had to unfollow some Latina accounts celebrating girl boss Camila Vasquez misogynistic complicity. Sigh. The adoration of her is so whack and weird. Now,
Mhm.
I'm not 100% on this side either
Okay.
because I believe that she's Cuban and Colombian, and she's a boss. She's a lawyer. She's doing her job for her client. She did a more than capable job for her client. She
Mhm.
clearly outclassed the other lawyers. Um, this is kind of falling in line with the Amy Comey Barrett. Like, why wouldn't you be happy that there's another? Is this similar to that? Like when you're like, why wouldn't you be happy that there's another woman on the Supreme Court? Why are you so caught up on the fact that she's anti-women's rights? You got
Mhm.
another woman on this. Is that kind of how that feels?
It does. It does a little bit because I'm friends with a few Latinas, and they're not on this boat at all. So my thing is I respect Camila Vasquez, but she did her job, right? And I feel the same way when it comes to the attorneys involved because even Amber's fucking attorneys, like, they did a great job as well, but the media ostracized them at any chance they fucking got. Trust me, as someone who watched the trial live, Camille Vasquez and the other guy, like the attorneys for Johnny Depp, and like they also stuttered a lot. They also said some dumb fucking they also said some dumb um those objections. Like it was not, the media was just so weird about it. It was just everyone on social media just got super for Camille Vasquez and on that wagon. And I do think that it had a lot to do with publicity. I think that they played it very well. I think that their careers are made, and I think that the attorneys for Amber Heard are probably like a little more hurt. But the same thing, I just feel icky. I feel like no one should be standing any of these people. They're attorneys. They did their job. That is it. We shouldn't be putting posters of Camila Vasquez in my fucking room because, like, what did she do? She defended Johnny Depp. That's cool. She did her job, and good for her. That's
Yeah, I
it.
mean,
She
she,
didn't
she
fucking save the world from world hunger. Like oh god, these people. It's like she did her job.
yeah. I
That,
mean, like I said last time, do I believe that Amber Heard is a toxic person and she's a hot chick that happens to be like super probably crazy, wacko, probably borderline personality, histrionic,
Yeah.
bipolar? There's I trust me, I've been there. I've been there. The you don't stick your dick in crazy. That's what happens. That's what it is. And he did that because he could have slept with 8 billion people on the planet. He chose to sleep with the fucking hot ass girl that was starred in his movie that was like top five hottest chicks on the planet at the time
Mhm.
because he could. Turned out this one was a little nutty and shit went downhill. You know, do I believe that she was innocent by a mile? No. Do I believe that she probably, demeaned him in a way? Yes, but I do believe that it was a toxic relationship both ways. I don't think he's innocent. I don't think he deserves the kind of love and adoration that he's getting. The
Mhm.
unequivocal 100%. He did absolutely nothing wrong. Justice for Johnny. My God, we need to protect him. We need to save him. We need campaigns to tell the studios that they have to give him a job and
Yeah,
they must cancel her. She cannot have a career. People
exactly.
are happy that she might be going into bankruptcy to pay for this.
Yeah. I'm like,
Like
"Well,
he
do you
needs to
feel bad now?"
like I saw an article today which was like what Johnny can do to get his $10 million. I'm like, okay, if he literally goes and tries to garnish her wages or tries to put a lien on her house, then I think he loses the publicity battle. I think he won.
Yeah.
He's at the top. It can't be any
Oh,
better.
yeah.
If she can pay, let her pay. Let her make a fucking payment plan. You know what I mean? Don't go after her house and go after like to make her penalty. I don't think you can be angry at somebody for so many years in a row. Maybe she fucked you over. Maybe you're like scorched earth, and you're like,
Mhm.
I'm Johnny Depp. I'm gonna But I don't think that he needs to start going like after every penny she has. I think that would end up being I think that would go against what he was trying to achieve. I
Yeah.
think in a couple of months you see an article that says Johnny Depp quietly put back on Johnny Depp's been re-put on the Pirates movie. Johnny Depp is or maybe Johnny Depp didn't want to do another stupid ass fucking pirate movie. Maybe this is
Mhm.
better for him. He gets to act like he got taken off, everybody feels sorry for him, and all of a sudden he's in a Marvel movie in 2 years.
Mhm.
Like he's gonna bounce the fuck back. And he's
Yeah.
already rich as a motherfucker. Um and he got Winona Ryder, my crush, so fuck him. I'm just kidding. Absolute fucking disgrace of a justice system that says Amber Heard and the rest of us aren't allowed to write about the abuse we've suffered, and should we dare, our abusers can freely use the
Completely, yeah.
courts to punish us. All right. So again, there is a and if this jury made this decision because of internet outrage,
Mhm.
and if this jury was compromised or was influenced by this huge movement, then it's also a bad look for the whole internet and
Mhm.
for the jury that got a thing. But this is the backlash. This is the result of you saying we're going to make an example of this particular woman, which is the one woman we don't believe,
Mhm.
and that is going to punish other women,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
I think so too.
All right, breezing through this. I think this is more of the gun stuff. How to follow some Latinos. All right, so that's the justice for Johnny bit. You know,
Yay, he won.
like 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 insane, that it felt like the OJ trial, and I remember the OJ trial,
That one was about murder.
and that one was about murder.
Uh,
This was Gen Z's OJ trial.
mhm.
Do you
Yeah.
agree?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, in the sense that it was a circus and it was played for everyone's entertainment and it touched on a lot of societal issues. Yes. But the fact that like the OJ trial was about like racial tensions, murder,
Police
um
brutality. Police. Yeah.
yeah, police brutality. There was a lot of other things that it touched on, and at the end of the day that someone died. So whereas this one it was a he said she said. I still am not convinced that anyone's innocent, so I'm just like, I don't know. And then the irony of it all is this was a defamation trial and he won in the court of public opinion. He is officially not defamed. He is ultra platformed.
He's been defamed.
Yeah, exactly. He's been de-defamed. He is back on the fame wagon, and is now Amber Heard gonna fucking go to court again for the defamation that she's now experiencing? It's like,
Oh man, part three.
I
This
know,
that
right?
part one was in the UK. Part two was in Virginia. Where's part
Yeah.
three gonna be? I don't know. They have to go
Mm,
somewhere exotic. They have to.
Australia. I
They
don't
have
know.
to. Yeah, Australia. There you go. Part three is in
There you go.
Australia. Part
Oh
three is
my
on
God. And
on a
his
pirate
attorney
ship.
is gonna be so hot.
All right, this has been Amber Talk, and as always, our Amber and Depp Talks are sponsored by Megapint,
Like a pie. Am I not surprised?
a very large or huge measurement of alcohol.
Yes.
Megapint, available at M&M Custom Store on the Etsy. Um, I was hoping that my Megapint would be delivered today for the stream, but it was not.
Oh
Hopefully,
man.
we'll have a Megapint back here eventually. But remember our sponsor, Megapint.
Mega pie.
Moving right along, the next topic that we are forced to talk about today is the ongoing epidemic in this country of gun violence. Um, Brandon, Mr. Biden, our buddy Brandon, got on TV tonight and he talked about a couple of key things that he wanted to accomplish to curb this. The main talking point is Second Amendment absolutist, who feel that the Second Amendment is an absolute, that there should be zero limitations on any kind of gun, ammunition that you can think to want
Mhm.
as an American, versus what I feel and what most Americans feel is common sense gun laws to try to prevent these. One of the most heartbreaking things about this entire episode is that, for example, all of these major shooters have bought their guns legally.
Yeah.
So, for example, this is a cover from today of the Sunday. Authorities said the gunman was able to obtain the weapon legally, Uvalde, Texas. Authorities said the gunman
Oh.
was able to obtain the weapon legally, El Paso, 23 killed. Authorities said the gunman was able to obtain the weapon legally, Virginia Beach, 12 killed. Authorities said the gunman was able to obtain the weapon legally. So my first thought on this is it is, and we'll get to the good guy with the gun portion of the police response.
Mm.
But the first part is the access to guns, right? The
Mhm.
first part is, okay, so let's say you're a gun dealer and you sell guns to the cartel, you sell guns to gang members, you sell guns to assassin. You
Mhm.
mostly know that those people are going to use that for violence, against people that they feel may deserve it, other gangs, other cartels, whatever. You
Mhm.
sort of feel that the guns that you're selling as a black market shady gun dealer are for people, so you have that. But if some awkward like 16-year-old comes for you and tries to buy an AR-15, like I almost feel like they are more protecting society than a gun store, because a
Yeah.
gun store only cares if you're over 18 and if you pass whatever checks they have to do, and they'll sell
Yeah.
you a gun, and no question. The shooter from today, there was a mass shooting today. There's been 18 mass shootings since the Uvalde shooting.
It's so
Um,
wild. There was another.
bought the gun today,
What?
the same day. He bought the gun
Wait,
the same day.
where was this? I don't think I actually heard of this one.
Tulsa Medical Center guy. This is the one I talked to you about, and this is part of the flow chart later.
Mhm.
He was not captured alive, so you know what color he was. And
Got
also,
okay.
he had gotten a back surgery, and he wasn't happy with his surgery, and he went back and he shot the doctor and anybody else that got in his way. Um, he was able to buy the gun the same day, and there were tons of red flags of him coming back to the hospital, making issues, stuff like that, stuff like that, stuff like that.
Whoa.
So it's the access. So if you're a Second Amendment absolutist, whatever, and you feel that, then that's the first thing that you got to sort of answer for. And what I mean by that is, if you're going to say that the ownership of a gun is a right. One of the things that I also saw is that the kids from Parkland, the guy who did the Parkland shooting, and the kid from Uvalde, both waited until they were 18 to buy their gun.
Mhm.
They tried to get guns before when they were 16, 17. The other kid from Uvalde asked his sister when he was 17 to buy him a gun. She said no. He was able to legally buy himself two rifles when he turned 15. Because in Texas, you can buy an AR-15 when you turn 15, 18, but you can't buy a pistol until you turn 21.
Yeah, that's insane.
So yeah, so to me, that is like, how would, even if you are the most pro Second Amendment responsible gun owner, why wouldn't you want everybody else that owns a gun to be as responsible as you?
Mhm.
So that's kind of the first part of that ecosystem that doesn't make sense to me. It's, again, people voting or politicizing against their own self-interest. If you're a gun owner and you want to make sure that guns stay legal, why wouldn't you want idiots and mentally impaired people not to have guns? Why
Mhm.
would you want, if you have children, why would you want any 18-year-old to be able to buy a gun at a gun show when they turn 18 with no background check? Why
Mhm.
would you want no cool down period when you buy a gun? Why would you want no background check, red flags? Why wouldn't you want them to at least have the minimal amount of training, pass a test, like if it was for their driver's license?
Yeah.
Then people say, well, you can't raise the age to 21 because 18-year-olds have to go fight in wars and they're allowed to die, but they're not allowed to buy a gun. Yeah, but that's after a lot of training. And the
Mhm.
reason people get put into the army when they're 18 is because they're still malleable in the brain and you can turn them into killing machines.
Mhm.
So that argument for me doesn't carry any weight. So so this is, again, and like I said, 18, and here's the part where I'll agree with the right that the media has politicized this, because it's true.
Mhm.
Both sides have something right in this argument. It used to be that if there was a dispute between two rival gangs or
Yeah.
two groups of people, it was just a shooting, right? Now, anytime there's multiple people shot, it's called a mass shooting. So they've changed the definition of that.
Mhm.
I think of mass shootings as like Buffalo, Uvalde, San Paso, the nightclub, all these other places. Columbine, obviously, are what I think of as mass shootings, where one individual decides to just cause damage,
Mhm.
versus when in there's gun violence because of drug deals, because of
Yeah, like both
cartel act.
sides are shooting at each
Yeah,
other.
because of stuff.
Mhm.
There's different kinds of violence. There's domestic violence. There's family disputes. There's
Right.
road rage. There's assassinations. There's cartel violence. There's gang violence, and then there's mass shootings where somebody decides that they're going to go postal, which is what we used to call going postal, right? So if you're going to say that owning a gun is an absolute right, and you're not gonna have anything, then we need to be able to trust that the people that are there to protect us are actually going to protect us.
Mhm.
So the second part of that debate is, well, if there were more guns, more cops, more good guys with guns, it would prevent. And we're going to go through this, but I think I'm going to go through the flow chart first, and then we'll go into some of the news that I found. All right. So here's a
Okay.
flow chart or how to respond to and this was more for the right than for the left. Although I will show you how I could change this very easily for the left. All
Okay.
right. So here's a flow chart. 21 people were shot dead. How should I react? Or 21 people were shot or are dead. Got it?
Mhm.
Was it a fetus?
I love this.
There's
Okay.
21 dead. Were they fetuses? All life is precious. Charge mother with murder. Charge everyone with murder. If you snitch on somebody who got an abortion, you get $10,000. All right.
Makes sense.
Or 21 people were shot or are now currently dead. Was it all in one place, or was it over a long weekend in a large urban area?
Oh,
Because you will agree that 21 people shot in a school is different from violence erupted over the weekend in Chicago and 21 people were killed. Those are
okay.
viewed as those are viewed as two separate things.
Mhm.
From the left's perspective, one of them is much worse than the other. From the right's perspective, they use both of them as examples of just there's gun violence and people doing it everywhere. What
Mhm.
is the difference between one person walking in somewhere and killing 21 people or 21 people getting killed in a violent weekend in New York or Chicago? From the left's perspective, they will say that the violence and the death in an urban community is due to systemic racism, poverty levels,
Right.
stuff like that. And they will get mad if you equate the two together. I see them both as deaths. I kind of understand what that argument is about, the fact that there's gang violence and there's, like, in LA, Mexicans killing each other, in Chicago, New York, different races killing each other. It's weird to think about it that way. One person walks into some place, kills 21 people. 21 things happen over the weekend, 21 people get shot and killed. There's still
Right.
21 people dead, right? So from the right's perspective, this is what this flow chart showed you. If it was all in one place, single shooter, store, school, church, or hospital, all right, then you have to go to the next part. What race or color was the shooter?
Exactly. That's where I was gonna get at.
If it's non-white, shoot on sight. He was probably illegal or terrorist.
Mhm.
Don't politicize this. Nothing we can do about it. Thoughts and prayers. We need more good guys with guns.
Mhm.
If he is white, capture alive.
Mental health, yeah.
Thoughts and prayers.
Uh,
Video games, mental health. He was having a bad day. Maybe we should buy him lunch.
yeah.
All right. Now, if it was in a large urban area with multiple shooters, for example, 21 people die in a weekend over Chicago versus 21 people die in one place, that's just animals killing each other. We need to
Mhm.
take the guns off the street, more cops, less socialism. They need to pull each other up by the bootstraps,
Mhm.
right? Um, now, so this is my flowchart. This is kind of the idea. Like, if it's a fetus, all life is precious. If it's a white person, nothing you can do about it. Thoughts and prayers. Probably somebody having a bad day. If
Mhm.
they're the immediately after the Uvalde shooting, oh, do are we for sure that he didn't just cross over the border? We need to protect the fucking border. How?
Mhm. Oh god. He had mental health issues. But then we cannot give any governmental money to freaking mental health programs. No Medicare for all. He had mental health issues.
1967, Jane Mansfield is killed when her car runs under the rear end of a tractor trailer. Since then, all trailers have a DOT bar at the rear to keep cars from going underneath them.
Mhm.
1982, 7 people died when Tylenol packaging was tampered with. Somebody started putting cyanide in Tylenol bottles. 7 people died. Since then, you have to, that's what they started the seal packaging, and that's where the laws say
Mhm.
now, if you open up a bottle of Tylenol and it's unsealed, you throw that shit away because you know that's what it's there for.
Yeah.
In 1995, somebody used a certain kind of fertilizer to kill 168 people. So the government imposed severe restrictions on the purchase of fertilizer. In 2001, somebody tried to blow up a plane with a shoe bomb. 20 years since, we've been having people take their shoes off when they get onto a board because one guy in
Mhm.
2001 decided to try to blow up a plane with a shoe. Since 1968, 1,516,000 people have died from guns. Gun violence kills an average of 168 people every 2 days. Now the problem apparently can't be solved by anything, thoughts and
But
prayers.
that's prayers. Yeah. Ah, god. Gun shootings are just as American as apple pie, isn't they?
The shooter and the shooter at my high school both waited until they were of legal age. Don't tell me that laws can't do anything. David Hogue. He's the kid from the Parkland shooting. Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely. Both people had to wait till they were able to legally. Listen, if you're a weird loner kid, a black market arms dealer is going to see you coming from a mile away,
Mhm.
right? Because you're not their typical customer. These people, so the argument that even if you make guns harder to get, criminals will still have access to guns. Criminals are not indiscriminately massacring third and fourth-year-old. Criminals are going out and robbing people or shooting other criminals. Yes, there's crimes that are being committed. Yes, a bad guy will always be able to go to the black market to get a gun. What we're trying to prevent is the easy access to this gun to people that might be not in the right frame of mind. And if
Mhm.
and I know that Biden is really just trying to salvage himself here because he wasn't talking about this 2 weeks ago. He was forced to go out there and say something about gun control, and he refused to put any blame on the Uvalde Police Department. We'll get to their timeline in a second.
Mhm.
But you can't tell me that some sort of common sense regulation, whether it's raising the age for assault rifles to 21, whether it's making a mandatory cool off period, whether it's passing simple tests to sort of weed out potential bad apples. You
Mhm.
can't tell me as a Second Amendment person that you're against that. I don't understand how you could possibly be against that unless you're just trying to be right.
Yeah, I think it has a lot to do with that, with the fact that what we talked about earlier about both sides just being extremely polarized. I think that in the right, there's this rhetoric that is so pro gun, that and then also just Republicans and talking about the NRA convention. First of all, we have to get into the financial aspect, which the NRA buys off a lot of politicians. What happens then? They have rallies and they have to fear monger to the right people. Um,
Coincidentally, do you know what
huh?
was banned at the NR? Do you know what was banned at the NRA convention from last week?
What?
Guns.
No way.
For their safety, you weren't allowed to bring guns into the NRA rally.
No way. Oh my
Imagine that.
God.
Imagine that.
Imagine that. And I bet no one said a damn thing. They were just like, you can't take my guns away. But only in this convention. Yes, this is okay. Yeah, no, I feel like it has a lot to do with fear mongering because no one. Okay. So the Constitution was written at a time where muskets were a thing. Okay. It took 5 minutes to reload and you could only do one shot. So very different timing and it's outdated.
Here's this video right here. Guns have changed. Shouldn't our gun laws?
There you go.
This guy,
Boom.
right? That was when gun laws were a thing. That's what it was. There you go.
Exactly, and then you gotta clean yeah, you gotta do a little thingy, you gotta clean it, yep,
Yeah,
there you go,
yeah.
you gotta switch it, there you go, and now everyone's gone. That's very cool. Yeah, so anyway, it's a very outdated law to say that we're clutching onto AR-15s and we could kill a bunch of people with one fucking push of a button. Um, I do think that it has a lot to do with fear-mongering in the sense that people feel like an anxiety that like, "Oh, they're gonna take my guns away." And I can not sympathize, definitely not, but I can understand why people are who are very like too far gone and very into guns don't want to let go of it. And I would hope that seeing fucking kids get shot will maybe change your mind a little bit because the solution isn't that fucking difficult. Listen, I like guns. I want to buy a gun. I will be a gun owner. However, I do expect for there to be a psychological background for me to be of a certain age, for me to show that I'm going to be a responsible gun owner through any means possible. And, like, I don't understand why people who like guns can't like they're not mutually exclusive. You can like guns, you can own a gun, just fucking show me that you're gonna be a responsible gun owner. And also then we're getting into the assault rifles, which
Mm.
those there's an argument for those that no one should ever own those. Because why? Right? So, I don't know. For the fact that an 18-year-old could wait until he was 18 and get an assault
Well,
rifle and kill a bunch of kids is just it's insufferable, honestly. It's disgusting.
I, I will note that the one thing I do, so I like I said, as most things, I fall in the gray area. I don't think that we necessarily want to, because what the Second Amendment says, in order to maintain a well-regulated militia, you should have
Mhm,
the right to bear arms. The reason that they did that and what they thought about, number one, was it was musket. Number two, this was right after the British War, so there was a
mhm.
threat that we could be
You could go to war, yeah.
reinvaded by Britain. We could go to war at any minute, and the possibilities of your government becoming tyrannical are less than they used to be, but
Mhm.
they're never zero.
Yeah,
So
exactly. So I do yeah.
the same way Ukraine, if Ukraine was a nuclear state, they would have been less likely to have been invaded by Russia because they would have been a nuclear state and there would have been
Mhm,
repercussions. Is the same reason that I don't necessarily think that there is no need for AR-15s and those types of guns, because I do think that, number one, aliens. You can't. There's not a 0% chance of aliens. There's probably a 0%
okay.
chance of zombies,
Mhm.
but there is also a more than 0% chance that the government could at some point become tyrannical.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily Nazi Germany, and I understand that comparison. We're like Nazi Germany. Well, they took the guns away and then they eliminated all the Jews. Yes, you can look at extreme things like that, but so in my mind, I would never go as far as saying we don't have the right as a people to protect ourselves potentially from our own government.
Mhm.
But I do agree in essence that I would be okay with restricting them heavily, and then maybe just putting like a moratorium on buying them, and then
Yeah.
putting
Renewing
a
your license, maybe there should be a gun license as well.
gun license, gun safety classes, and
Mhm.
just a basic gun safety knowledge, and just a vibe check, I guess.
Yeah.
Like literally like a vibe check or some sort of like
A
mental
psychological
evaluation.
evaluation, yeah.
Yeah,
Or vibe check, yeah, as
yeah,
we all call
call
it
it
in
a
psychology. That's
yeah,
what we
call
say.
it. Like, yeah, I vibe checked that guy so hard.
Yeah.
So I don't feel like that has anything to do. And again, Joe Biden comes out, but then they did refuse to call for investigation into police response. Has the utmost respect for men and women of law enforcement. This thing that Democrats
Ah,
are against law enforcement and that they want to defund the police is completely fucking ridiculous. If anything,
mhm.
Democrats want to put more money into the police. They love the police so
Yes.
hard.
We live in a militarized fucking state, it's
All
disgusting.
right. So then the biggest backlash was about the timeline of events for Uvalde
Mhm.
is the kid shot his grandma. She called the cops and let them know that he was crazy and he had a gun. He drove to the school. Apparently, the school and 40% of the city's budget goes to the police force. The
Mhm.
police force and the SWAT team got
Yes.
brand new level 4 armor, I guess. The SWAT team had like the most advanced layout. They did wait 78 minutes before they got the keys from a janitor and bursted into the room. They were getting calls from kids inside the room. Kids had to put their classmates' blood on them and pretend they were dead. They lied and said that the shooter walked into the school because a teacher had propped the door open. That was one of the first things that came out. Turns out the teacher did not prop the door open.
Oh my
She
god.
slammed it shut. They lied about engaging the killer before they entered the school. They let him waltz in. Once he barricaded himself inside of a room, maybe they thought all the kids in there were dead, which is the coldest fucking thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
But the decision on the ground was to stop treating it like a active shooter and to start treating it as like a barricaded standoff.
Oh my
So
god.
they created a perimeter. Literally, they were tasing and handcuffing parents who
Yeah.
showed up that wanted to rush to school. The story that I heard was that a woman was handcuffed and released, and she actually flew into the school and took her kids out. Of course, this piece of shit wants to ban doors and make everybody go in
Oh,
through Ted Cruz, number of guns, number of
fucking
doors.
Ted Cruz just
Ted
pisses me
Cruz
off
is a
to no
fucking
end.
piece of shit. He blamed doors. They blamed everything. They blamed
Mhm.
everything. I thought this guy was interesting.
Oh, wait, it's silent.
Can you hear me? Can you hear?
Yep.
I live in a state where they passed a $10,000 snitch law. That's right. They said, you know what? You know anybody that goes and gets an abortion? You tell us you snitching right, we'll pay you $10,000. Yeah, you got lawmakers willing to make all kinds of time restrictions. Only before 6 weeks. Only before this, before that, after that. We're going to charge you with murder. We're going to charge the doctor with murder. We're going to charge whoever gave you a ride with murder. We're going to charge anybody and everybody. Hell, man, your brother-in-law, you had a conversation with him on the way down to the clinic. Hell, we'll charge him with murder. You got all kinds of energy. I live in the South. I drive by your churches, and I see the little crosses sitting out front. I see that. Little crosses sitting out front for all the aborted babies. All the little babies that didn't make it. Well, you really care about them. Where's that same energy? Huh? Where are the crosses for all the people that are killed in these shootings? All the kids. Where are the crosses for the Sandy Hook kids? Where are the crosses for the goddamn Uvalde kids? The people shot in the mall or wherever. You don't give a shit because you're not really Christians. You aren't.
So yeah, this is the narrative of the
Pro-life.
when they're fetuses,
Hmm.
protect sanctity of life. Once they're out,
Who gives
fucking.
a fuck? Yeah.
I mean,
It's
maybe somebody actually said maybe we should give fucking kids guns.
yeah, I know. Oh, that was a wild take, man. It's
Give the teachers guns, give the kids
it
guns.
really it really is disgusting, the pro-life aspect. Like these people really actually think that they are defending somebody, that they're standing up for a little guy by standing up for a fucking fetus and forcing somebody to have a full-term pregnancy. And then once the child is born, you're fine with them dying at a public school through a mass shooting because guns are more important.
They love gun.
Disgusted.
What do you think that they love more, guns or babies? If they could only pick one,
Ooh, that's a good, maybe we should okay.
it's
Like
both.
fetuses, right? Like before they're
Yeah,
born.
guns or
Okay.
fetuses. Guns or fetuses.
Ooh, that's a hard one. I'm gonna
If they
say,
if they could make sure we always had guns, or if they could make abortions 100% illegal everywhere, what do you think they would pick?
um, if I had to choose, I'll say guns.
You think they would pick guns over fetuses?
I
Abortion is legal, but we're keeping our Second Amendment.
well, it depends. Okay, so like what, so you're asking me, do we, is misogyny stronger than pro-gun advocates?
Yeah, for the right.
Because
What do you think?
I really want to force women to not have rights, but then on the other end, I really like my toys.
Mhm.
I would have to ask a guy in the South, do you rather keep your toys or tell women what to do? Which one?
If we have any
Can't
Second
have both.
Amendment absolutists here in the chat, they should let me know. What would you if you could only keep one?
Yeah,
Fetuses or guns?
if I
What
was a
would you?
racist white man in the South, I think I would like my toys, man. I think I'd be like, ah.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Fucking kids are
But
annoying.
also them bitches, they can't be having abortions.
Your body, my
Your
choice.
boy, my choice. I own you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Let's see what do we have here. Texas DP officials admit wrong decision and police respond to Uvalde. Oh God, you think waiting 77 minutes was a mistake? You never know. This is what I was talking about earlier. 30 people dead from gun violence over Memorial Day weekend across the U.S. So yeah, it's weird that this is the one point that I'll give
Mm,
to the people that are that fall on this side and say, well, if you look at it objectively, which is hard to look at it objectively when 19
mm,
kids get slaughtered, but more than 30 people dead from gun violence over Memorial Day weekend. It is symptomatic of the fact that this country is end state capitalism that just loves to fucking role play the wild west.
yeah.
We just like we want that. Just how we all think that we're just temporarily disadvantaged billionaires. We all think that we're in the fucking wild west, and we want to be able to have our fucking toys and have fucking shootouts, et cetera, et
Yeah.
cetera, et cetera. Junior went on a wild ride. We don't even. He was coked
No,
up. He did a whole
that's
thing.
not.
Good for him. Heroic officer rushed into Uvalde school with barber shotgun. So the story that came out is that, and we give a lot of shit to the border patrol, obviously in ICE, but the reality is on the border, a lot of the border patrol are minorities. There are a lot of Mexicans and that work for the border patrol, which is a
Mm,
weird kind of dynamic. I understand, but Jose Alvarado was getting a haircut when he received a text message from his wife, Trisha, a fourth grade teacher at Uvalde. There's an active shooter. Send help. I love you. He leaped out of his chair, grabbed the barber shotgun, rushed to the high school, broke a window, started getting people outside, and then apparently he was the guy that was there when they opened the door, rushed inside, killed the shooter. So it wasn't one of the fucking dozens of friggin' there he is right there. He showed up with a shotgun and
yeah.
got some shit done. Got his kids out.
That's how you
Again,
fucking do it.
hmm?
So that's how you fucking do it. These cops are so fucking inept. It's infuriating.
All right, this was one of the don't mind me firefighters who died rushing into the Twin Towers watching Uvalde SWAT for a whole goddamn hour. Okay,
Hmm.
this is like I said.
It's like I don't know. It's like cops and military really fucking love all the praise that we give them. Oh my god, like they're such saviors, they're our heroes and blah blah blah. But like most of them don't do jack shit to fucking actually do their jobs when it's time to actually do your job. And you rather fucking see kids get slaughtered than fucking put yourself in the line of fire.
The Uvalde Police Department is pleased to announce that we have completed the process and been awarded grant funds to outfit every Uvalde police officer with level 4 body armor. This
that they're
important
not
piece
gonna
of
use
legislation provided
unless
funding
it's to
to
beat
equip.
fucking black people.
So there they
Sorry.
are. There they are. There they are. There's the proud Uvalde Police Department, level 4, level 4. But they're not gonna rush in to stop a shooter.
No.
Just so I'm clear, this wasn't. I haven't seen this super confirmed, but cops, apparently, allegedly, some cops went into the school to get their own kids out, then retreated outside. They set up crowd control, ignored parents begging to let them act, tackled and tased. They did do that. They tackled and tased parents who tried to go in to save their own
Mhm.
kids.
Yeah.
Again, I have not watched any of those videos that show that because I don't want to. I don't want to hear gunshots in the background and see
It
parents.
it
No.
it's fucking traumatizing, dude. Like oh my god, I'm so scared to ever be a parent. The fact that like to feel so powerless while your child is possibly fucking being killed when they just went to school. Like, and these cops are not only telling you not to go inside and that you can't do anything, but they're also not doing anything, and they go out of their way to tase you and to hold you back. Like, it's just
I got this.
disgusting.
I don't know if those cops were actually there, but I mean, um, grooming and indoctrination can take many forms. Obviously, we live in a gun crazy culture, so that makes sense. This was a video that came out recently from HBO Sports, and it's basically this kid that just he walked. Okay, so here's the thing. Let me see if you can hear this.
Mm-mm.
So he tried to buy tobacco with an ID.
At the next store, Jack tries to buy cigarettes with no luck. Later, he strikes out trying to buy Racy magazine.
All right, okay, thank you.
And then lottery tickets.
Can I get a couple of scratch offs?
Are you? Your daddy?
13.
You what?
13.
You can't get no trash on things.
Okay.
It's laughable to everyone here. The idea that we'd ever expose a 13-year-old to the dangers of a lottery ticket. But then we arrive here at the gun show.
It should shoot pretty good for you.
I'll take it.
Within minutes, the 13-year-old easily and legally bought a .22 caliber rifle from a private seller and walked away with it.
So 13-year-old kid couldn't get scratches, couldn't buy cigarettes, couldn't buy porno, but he could walk into a trade show and come out with a rifle.
What state was this in?
I'm gonna guess either Texas or Florida.
I think they said Texas. I think they
Texas.
said Texas. But
It's
man,
it's worth repeating. A mom drove there, got handcuffed, got out of the handcuffs, hopped the fence, went inside the school, walked out with her 2 kids, all while 19 officers waited outside.
yeah, fuck
She
yeah.
drove 40 miles. They put her in handcuffs, told her she was under arrest. She was able to convince the officer to have her free her. She moved away from the crowd, jumped the school fence, ran inside the school, got her kid herself.
It's fucking disgusting. This is like despicable, the fact that she had to go to those lengths, but also fucking badass of her to. That's what you do. You fucking these cops, man.
There was
These
bits
cops.
of bravery. There was bits of bravery. There was heroic action by parents. There was heroic actions by the border patrol officer who went in and out to kill that. There was horrible mistakes by the Uvalde police, and it just proves that this was a school with 2 supposed to be security officers or cops assigned to it. It was a very 40% of the budget went to police in that town. They had level 4 SWAT gear, and they somehow decided that sacrificing an entire classroom full of 3rd and 4th graders was the correct move. And 77 minutes to get a door to open where there's kids, when we've known how this ends, it's just eerily just it is heartbreaking. And I think that and we had talked about this before, like in terms of mental health. I'm going through I was still processing, the grief that I was going through from my dad. And part of the reason that I canceled a couple of weeks ago was because the Buffalo shooting had just happened. And I think just the fact that I was experiencing grief in a new way made me sort of think about all the people losing parents. And these were like, usually they were older, like people that got shot in Buffalo, like grandmas, moms, older people,
Oh.
that got shot there. And for some reason, it hit me really, really hard when Buffalo happened, and then this happened just back to back. So yeah, I've been trying to avoid stuff that's like too graphic and do stuff like that. Just sort of trying to stick to the facts and stuff that's been verified. Um, but it's sad that both of the extremes are approaching this as if it has to be either all or nothing.
Mhm.
I think that's the mistake that Democrats can make, and the people that argue the Democratic side or the left side are making. And I think that's also, in the end, the Republican side. We all know that that's their playbook is to not concede, just fight, 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 and wait until the Democrats cave, because Democrats are cucks, and they
Yeah.
eventually will cave. And Republicans are the devil. Again, Republicans are the devil. Democrats are cucks. So I think that's standard, but just the fact that that you're never going to get repeal all ban all assault rifles, get rid of all the guns. You're never going to get rid of all the guns. I
Yeah.
understand that in a perfect society in the future we wouldn't need guns, but you'd have to legislate or genetically make people stop committing crimes,
Yeah.
right? Unless we're doing like Minority Report precog, where when you think of murder you get convicted, you're not going to be able to get rid of all crime. So I am 100% for responsible gun ownership. And again, I do understand people that want to keep heavier guns, because there's never a 0% chance that the world won't go to shit and you might need it.
Okay.
Um, but I also think that responsible gun owners, because most of the people that own guns in this company are not with the NRA. They're
Mhm.
people that benefit from the NRA laws, but they're not with the NRA. I have to believe that most people that have guns do not want mentally unstable people that have guns. I have to believe that.
I would hope so, but
So they literally need to find the middle ground now to save people's lives.
Mhm.
And I would, and like I said, if it's really the good guy with the gun theory, then the NRA should be volunteering at all the schools in the US. Talk to your members. Which members can go to each state where they have legal rights to carry and sit outside and patrol schools, shopping malls, areas? What is it that, again, the NRA, when the guy was shot in Minneapolis, that told the cop, "Hey, I have a gun," and the guy still shot him. They weren't fighting for him. They weren't like up in arms over this responsible gun owner that was told the cops, "I have a gun," still got shot. Um, so I don't know. It's a lot of bullshit, honestly. I just think that I wish that both the left and the right would realize that it is not important that they win the debate on this argument. It is not
Mhm.
important that they have the higher ground on this argument. What is important is that they do something.
Yeah.
What is important is that all those people that were legally allowed to purchase these guns get stopped somehow.
Mhm.
And the way to do that is by, some of these people are a little bit mentally strange. If you make them fill out a form before they get their gun, is, do you plan on doing anything horrible like a mass shooting? Some of them might say yes.
Oh
Yeah.
my
Now that you asked, yeah, I was gonna go shoot up a fucking blah blah blah.
Mhm.
Like, I keep going back to that. If any of the if this dude had tried to go to a shady arms dealer, he probably would have gotten laughed at. He's like, "What do you need this gun, kid? What are you gonna do?" "Oh no, I got kids that go to school around here. What the fuck are you talking about? Are you crazy?" Like, I can see that happening. Most of these shooters that do the atrocious crimes, not the gang on gang, not the freaking
Mhm.
higher level hitman shit, not the fucking other stuff that happens that contributes to gun violence. Domestic violence obviously is a huge thing. um but but it's a lot easier for somebody that's going to commit an atrocity to get their gun legal than you understand.
Yeah.
So for me, I would fight for a couple of things. I would fight for a cool down period for people, so you can't buy a gun day of. I would make that. I would do that number one. I would make it at least 72 hours, but more like 10 days, you
Mhm.
know. And I would treat it like it was a fucking driver's license, which means you have to pass a test, both a practical and a safety test, and some sort of, like I said, psychological profile or background and or vibe check. And if you can pass those things,
Uh-huh.
then you can keep your gun, but you need to re-register every couple of years.
Mhm.
And if you come up red flags because you went and stalked your fucking ex-wife at her job and there's a police report filed based on that, then guess what? You get your gun taken away,
Mhm.
you know,
Yep.
or something like that.
Yeah.
Um, and so while I believe that responsible gun ownership should be allowed forever in this country, like you said, I have a gun. To protect my house. We have weapons in this house. As responsible gun owners,
Mhm.
I will continue to keep a weapon for responsible gun ownership. I feel like anybody that's a responsible gun owner should want the same thing. Should want
Mhm.
for people that are not borderline, people that are having bad days, people that have had issues, neglect, PTSD. I just think that it should be well regulated. If you're going to say that that the Second Amendment is absolute and you're going to take it by the law, then let's look at the well regulated part.
Mhm.
The well regulated part, which to me it can completely include registration, background check, vibe check.
Yeah.
That's the takeaway. Hey, I'm gonna have to do. You want this? You want
Jesus.
that? You want that Uzi? We're gonna have to do a vibe check.
Oh
What's
my
the?
god.
What is the vibe check? Let's just hang out for a couple of minutes. I just want to kind of check your vibe a little bit. All right. Have you
Yeah.
ever killed a small animal or anything? Yes. Up.
There you
Failed the
go.
vibe check.
Fail the vibe
Sorry.
check. Sorry.
Sorry.
Mhm.
You know, like I don't think Second Amendment people are like, yes, crazy people should also have guns.
No, but I do think that they want to be owners as easy as easily as they possibly can.
They think that if they do background checks and registration, that one day they'll say, no, we're going to take all the guns. That they
Mhm.
think it's a slippery slope. They think that they're standing their ground.
Yeah, but that goes a lot with the fear mongering. It's like no one's trying to actually take all of your guns away, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
Obama had 8 years. He never took the guns away.
Yeah,
Bill
exactly.
Clinton had
And
eight
they're not
years.
gonna,
He never
and they're
took the
not
guns
gonna.
away.
There's a lot of money to be made in guns. You just have to regulate it. Um, but yeah, and then as far as like preventative measures go, because that's what you do preventative with like the guns. But if you're gonna go off the gun path as well, I feel like it's just funding and focusing more on like also medical stuff. We should have Medicare for all. We should have free available therapy for anybody who needs it. We should have resources for children that are going through stuff because these murderers are made. They're not fucking born that way. So, but the problem is the same people that are
I
yelling
got
like,
I
"Oh,
got that
don't take my
reference. I
what?"
got that reference. Born this way,
They're not
and it's
born this way.
and
I
it's
didn't even
pride
get it. I was like, "What?"
and it's Pride Month. Hey.
Hey, I didn't even get it. It's fucking yeah. But no, so it's a lot of things I hate, and goes back to the fucking rant that man did with the pro life versus, actually being pro life. Like you don't give a fuck with kids dying. You don't care about life. You care that women are forced to do something with their bodies, and you're anti-abortion. You're not pro-life because being pro-life actually means that you would stand up for people's health care, well-being, housing, care about homelessness, care about the wars, care about everything, and try to prevent that shit. Not when it happens double down and then say like, oh, it was mental health problem, maybe we should do something about it, but then you vote to defund all that shit. Like no, what? And like it pisses me off because like I was going to say this point earlier with the Depp and Heard thing. Our culture right now is so like engulfed by that. The fucking primaries are June 7th. Has anyone voted? Have you filled out your ballot? It's these are important primaries. But guess what? No, no, no. Everyone's too busy saying like free Johnny Depp that like why do I care what my senators are, who my senators are? What do I care? Who the fuck my mayor of my town is like?
if
Bro,
they're
like
gerrymandering
that's
my district.
exactly. Yeah. So it pisses me off to no end the fact that people are like, oh, like they care about like we're not gonna take away your guns, okay? It's just care a little more about the people that you're supposed to fucking be pro-life over, okay? Fucking care about people when they're alive. And fucking that's my TED talk, okay? Gosh. Go vote. Go out to vote, everyone. It's an important one.
All right, and my final tab on this is this one, which is kind of sickening. The NRA decided to continue to have their Greg Abbott, the governor of Texas, decided not to go. Before
Mhm.
first he jumped on stage and was like pro police, and they were buying the whole police narrative that that the teacher left the door propped open, and that's how he got inside, and then blah blah
Mhm.
blah, and this and that. And then he basically said that the police he threw the cops under the bus, and he was basically like, "No, they deceived me. I don't
Okay.
think what they did was right." And he had the frame of mind to at least not go to the NRA convention that he was scheduled to work at. But guess who did show up?
Aw, Trumpy.
America's favorite putz. Now, if you were just to
Oh,
see this, if you
Jesus.
just were to see this GIF, that, and I love the fact that this GIF has been playing in the background while we've talked for the last like five
Yeah, I
minutes.
know. I know he's been dancing. I feel like
He's just been
I
dancing.
like giggled at
If
it.
you just saw him dancing, this is the little dance that he does at his rallies, his little YMCA, his little YMCA dance, which is
God.
ironic in of itself.
Mhm.
But this is what he did at the end of a speech after, I kid you not, he read the name of every child that died at the Uvalde shooting,
Mm.
followed by a bell being rung at
Okay.
the motherfucking NRA
NRA.
convention. NRA convention. After his speech was very low key, like I don't believe Trump believes the bullshit that he talks about. He
No,
just
no, no, no.
understands what's
I don't think he's even lucid enough to understand what's
I
happening
don't
in the
even
world.
think he's that racist. He just has racist and
It's just yeah.
assholes in his ear. He just
Yeah.
listens to racism.
Yeah.
But can you imagine? And so his speech was like, "Oh, they're gonna keep saying good guy with a gun, bad guy with a." They could have done the same thing with a rock or with a knife. No, you can't. You know how long it takes to stab 19 people.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
have to be dedicated. But he said the names of every single fucking victim, of every innocent kid that got killed, and then at
Okay.
the end, when he's getting off stage, he does a little fucking dance.
Jesus! This man
Like
is so tone deaf. Oh my
how
god.
do you how and they were cheering him and people were there and they still went to this fucking convention.
Please
And
tell me
they
Uruguay made another fucking goal because I need a shot.
is this the time to mention this?
Jesus.
Oh, 3-0 is the
Oh,
final
thank God.
of the
I'm
match.
serving another shot because fuck Trump, man. Oh my God. This man.
I'm gonna do a shot for victory as well, so that we're
Yeah.
both
Congrats. Congrats, by the
yeah.
way.
And because we've been talking about some heavy subjects, and we deserve a little drinky drink here.
Yeah. By the way, don't
Listen,
forget to vote, everyone.
and look, like I said, we're a Latinx reaction podcast, and this last shooting was definitely one that affected. You know, it's a community. All
All of
those
the
kids,
things.
I can't even pull up the picture of those kids. All of them little fucking Mexican
Yeah.
little babies, third and fourth grade, like fucking artists, baseball players, little musicians, little future contributors to the community, like all
Yeah.
gone. And the guy bought the gun legally. He waited till he was 18.
Hmm.
He was not an illegal. He had mental issues,
He had
obviously.
issues with
At
his
some point,
grandmother. Also, the grandmother died.
yeah,
Um,
and then the guy, the husband of the teacher who died, had a heart attack like 2 days later.
mhm.
It is, it's definitely was something that I knew we were going to have to talk about, but
Oh, definitely.
I wasn't excited about it,
Yeah, me neither.
but
Yeah.
it is definitely something that is topical. We've never really sat down and talked about guns and gun control, so I wanted to really, I wanted to put my feelings on it. I think I was very clear, kind of where I stand on it. Obviously, I'm a little gray area, so it's a little bit in between both sides. And I think
Mhm.
if we want something to actually get done, we're going to have to literally just get some just basic common sense shit done, and just
Yeah.
promise them, or just how many guns do you need? Just tell us the number right now. It's like,
Yeah.
how many guns? How many guns you want? How many? I want 40. All right, okay, get your 40 guns, and then we're done with them. Something like that. Like almost how you would tell billionaires and people that are trying to fuck the world for just extra money. How much money do you need for you to not fuck our natural resources and just say fuck the next generation? How much money
Mhm.
do you want? Because we'll print that out to you, give it to you,
And then you
and
can
then
go
just
disappear.
can we please just have health care? Can we
The
please
answer,
just not?
yeah, the answer is they'll never be satiated.
Right. But
Because then they
Uruguay did
go
beat
do mega yachts, and then they do fucking they go to space.
Uruguay did beat
Okay.
Mexico 3-0.
Congrats.
Thank you. Thank
Cheers.
you. It was a friendly, but it was a good game.
It
Thank
was
you.
friendly, pero por Uruguay,
Salud.
you know. Salud.
Ah.
Ah,
And thank you to everybody that has joined us live. Make sure that you guys are following the MiGente Show page at MiGente on Instagram. Whoa. Yeah. Mm.
ah.
Mm. At Big Chief
Fuck,
Burrito and at
Mexico,
the
be
Via Cart.
better, Mexico.
Yeah, that's 3-0. That's not a
Jesus,
good look. It's a friendly,
3
but
nothing.
still, it's good. It gives me a little bit of bragging rights. All right, so that was
Yeah.
gun talk.
No, wait, what did you say earlier? You were like gun and guns
Well, no.
and
What did I call that was the name? It was going to be Guns and Goblets.
guns and goblets. There you go, because of the mega pint. Yeah,
That was the name of the. And I was like, no, don't do that, Lou. That's a horrible
maybe
name.
not. Maybe that a little tone deafy. There you go.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, if you have to, if you don't laugh at, or at least, all right, let's
Nope.
move on to
Nope.
this.
Let's
Yeah,
not finish that sentence.
then you can't laugh. Yeah, that's not what we're going to laugh at. That's not it. All right, let's do a palate cleanser here. All right, I think we need a palate cleanser here. All right, here we go.
Yeah,
Hold on.
figuratively and literally.
All right, here we go. Okay, this is a.
Oh, doggy. Ah. Oh.
It's
It's like you motherfucker. Oh, my dog does that to me.
Like, yeah, I want that.
Ew.
I want that.
Yeah.
Yeah, give me some of that.
Let me get some.
No.
Fucking
And
cousin.
it's
Yeah.
like, oh, you asshole. Oh, you asshole.
Kitty!
All right,
Why
that
do
was-
I think that's so cute? He's trying to murder his fucking owner.
all
That's
right.
cute.
How to Murder Your Husband writer found guilty
Yeah.
of murder her husband.
I saw that.
A jury in Portland has convicted a self-published romance novelist who once wrote an essay titled "How to Murder Your Husband" of fatally shooting her husband 4 years ago. The jury of 7 women and 5 men found her guilty. Now, this has to be a movie of the week somewhere, right? This has to be
Oh yeah. The irony.
the
How
irony.
did she murder him the way that she wrote it?
She shot him, but I don't know. She owned the same Ikamoto gun she used and was seen surveillance camera. She had okay, so it looks like she might have.
It's fucking crazy, man.
Yeah. So if you are never, just don't do that. Just if you're gonna murder somebody,
Maybe
don't
don't
write a
kill your
book about how you just.
If you're gonna murder somebody, maybe don't do it.
That's also would have worked. You're right.
Maybe don't murder people.
All right, let's file this one under the caucasity. Carrie Mulligan faces backlash.
That got me. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Faces backlash. The caucasity.
File this one under the caucasity. Carrie Mulligan faces backlash for playing Chilean America Felicia Montealegre.
Okay, if she can say the word Montealegre, then she can play it.
First look at Bradley Cooper and Carrie Mulligan. Okay,
I
well,
know. Stop it. I will say Chileans are very white and racist. I don't know why I'm defending that, but I know a lot of Chileans and they're very Republican racist. Just the ones I know. I'm sure not everyone, but they're very light-skinned Republican racist. The ones that I know, man.
there's I guess I don't know, the Chileans that I know I guess are a little bit more.
They're
I
cool.
mean, if you look, no, maybe
Mine
not
are
cooler.
rich and they're like super racist. So I was like,
Yeah, I think you can say that about like the whitest of most Latin
of
American
anything,
countries.
yeah, Mexico too. Yeah, we have some bad
Yeah,
ones, for
yeah.
sure.
So I think that's probably across the board. That's more elite than white.
Mhm.
But as far as I know, Carrie Mulligan is not Chilean or Latina at all. Maybe if it was the Argentinian girl, she's the Vanilla
Oh, that
Beaner.
would have been a good one. Yeah, she's is that
Anna the Joy, maybe that would have been good.
Yeah, the chess girl.
She was Chilean American, so she was half white, I guess, but she's being portrayed by a British actress.
Hollywood, how we learn nothing. How we learn nothing.
Ah, yes, iconic Latina actress Carrie Mulligan to play
Yes.
Latina. Love me some Carrie
Exactly.
Mulligan, but once again, this is a Latino role. Chilena Felicia Montealegre. Kind of sucks that Carrie Mulligan is
Also,
whitewashing a Latina role again.
who is Bradley Cooper playing? He
Ah,
looks a little brown in that picture, and I don't think I like it. Look at his hair. Look at his face.
not directed, but let me see.
Desi
Does that
Arnaz?
is he playing Desi Arnaz? Wait a second. The love story, blah blah
Lucy.
blah. I don't know, but I guess they're problematic. Maybe he was a white guy.
Oh my goodness.
Oh,
Yikes.
hey, how you doing?
Jesus.
Hey,
She did not like it. She did not like Harry Mulligan.
she is not like it. The dog.
She
All right,
said,
this was a
"Fuck that
story.
bitch."
Let's
Yeah,
see.
I'm mad about it too, Mama. Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
Mama. A couple of things here that
Oh,
I had.
Burnham, I love him.
This was from the outtakes that they dropped. They did. He did. He dropped all the.
Oh my god, I'm gonna love this. Yes.
All right, let's see this.
Okay.
Man, it's fucking exhausting, bro. Fucking out of control. It's just our culture has been taken over by a radical group of SJW feminist freaks who hate comedians, who are anti-comedy and anti-joke. Totally. And it's
Can't even make a joke anymore.
Say anything. No, literally,
Okay.
100% anything. Literally, I would try to say something right now. Watch.
Can't say it. No.
And he is
Can't say it.
Canceled.
because it's
Comedy's dead. What?
In the heyday of so depressing, dude. When Tony the Pancake was headlining the Comedy Store, or Salami Williams on a Tuesday night, they would just murder, just fucking absolute, just
Yeah, that is exactly what it is. Though, listening to Joe
it
Rogan.
sucks because these people they don't understand comedy. Of course not.
No.
We're joking. It's not that serious, guys. Okay, it's not that serious. Around. And also, we as comedians are philosophers. Yes, all right, Lenny Bruce, Richard Pryor. We hold up a mirror, history-changing cultural figures. Please recognize that. All right, comedy is an art form. Yeah, of course it is. It's an art form. It's important because it's one of the only art forms that is not gay. No, no, we can't say that.
No.
But yeah, gay. But now they're gonna us right. We're gonna get canceled for saying this. You homophobes. We're not being homophobic. No, it's when we say that. But gay is if there was another word that meant gay that wasn't gay, we'd use that. But there isn't. So we so it's really just a war on comedy.
God, I love Bo Burnham.
I was having
He's
a conversation with my sparring partner. Nice. And I realized that
My sparring partner
on comedy is
Yeah, I thought that's another palate
I
cleanser.
wanna.
Right?
That's. I just think it's so funny. I think it's funny that fucking comedians nowadays, like, they love to bitch about how, like, oh, nothing's funny anymore, and it's just you're bitching because you can't fucking go with the times and think of new funny shit. Then you have comedians like Bo Burnham who, like, fuck, he's hilarious. How is he making it work? And you can't, and you're just there sitting talking shit about how nothing is funny and you can't make jokes anymore. And you're so attacked and fucking SJWs are ruining, getting canceled, and it's so stupid.
Yeah, I do think that there's like a little bit of truth to it. I mean,
There is no as for
it is
most
it is
things,
harder. Yeah,
people do revolt easier and get more easily offended. So I'm not gonna fight on that hill at all.
yeah.
But does that mean that fucking comedy is over and it's under attack and you can't
No,
make a joke?
it's absolutely
No,
not.
not at
Absolutely
all.
not. You have to evolve. Comedies evolve the same way. Take my wife, please. Doesn't work today
Yeah.
as a joke because it's like hey, my wife asked me where I was taking her for. I asked my wife where she wanted me to take her for our anniversary. She said, "Take me somewhere I've never been before." So I took her to the kitchen. Like
Mhm.
you can't make that was like 50s comedy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that's not funny anymore.
And then they
not
get
because,
mad because you don't get claps. It's like, no, I'm sorry, it just
what
wasn't.
I'm saying is like that was just like that didn't work in the 90s. The 90s and the 2000s stuff doesn't work today.
know.
We grew up, and I think you also kind of on the cusp of that in terms of being able to take jokes about each other was kind of like a rite of passage. You were either the kid that got mad at your mama jokes or you were the kid that made them or that you went back and forth, so getting called out on your shit was probably the main thing that your brothers, sisters, cousins, your group of friends would prepare you for. And it was okay if they gave you shit about whatever your thing was, whether you were gay or whether you were fat or whether
Mhm.
whatever. They
Yeah.
they were they were the ones that got to make fun of you. And as a fat kid, I always said it's okay as long as it's funny.
Mhm.
I never minded people that made fat jokes as long as they were funny.
Yeah.
If they were lame, if they were stupid, I would fit that. But if I was sitting there with somebody and I would ask them a question and they'd be like, "Yeah," and also by the way, yes, I am gonna finish this. Then I'd be like, "Oh, yeah, that's funny," because I was gonna ask you if you were gonna finish that.
Mhm.
But so if it's funny, I would. But then I'm just me.
Yeah.
So comedy's not bad.
No,
You
you
just
can't be a snowflake
it's
because
just
people
different.
aren't laughing at your jokes.
Yeah, especially it's like
Sorry.
they call somebody a snowflake. Exactly,
Yeah.
and both sides are hypocrites. Democrats are hypocrites.
Mhm.
Democrats, right wing, left wing. We're all hypocrites. Everybody's a fucking hypocrite. We all say one thing and do another to a certain extent. We all have our goods and our bads, but at some level, we both have hypocrite. Everybody's got some hypocrisy about them. I think. Ebba, jibba, jibba, ja.
Philosopher Luis
All right.
Martinez.
Elon Musk tells employees to return to the office for 40 hours a week or quit.
God, he really is the devil, isn't he? Look at him. So gross. I don't
I don't know if
know.
these are true or not, but there were some leaked emails that were saying that anyone that wishes to remote work has to be in the office for a minimum of 40 hours a week, blah, blah, blah.
People don't want to
Um,
work. Get off your ass and work.
Look, I talk in my day job. I talk to people that are in tech departments all the time, and I always talk to them about like, hey, are you guys bringing people back in the office? And most people that I speak to are basically saying that they're going to keep some sort of remote environment moving forward. You can't unring a bell. You can't give people freedom and then
Mhm.
take it away. You can't for the longest time. I would work at a job where I was like, hey, what if I could take a couple of days off and work from home because there's some things that I do that I don't necessarily see why I need to be here at the office for, and they specifically told me those jobs can't be done from home. We
Yeah.
don't we That's not a job you can do from home. For a long amount of time, people were told you can't do your job from home. You have to commute every fucking day. You have to spend hours of your day in
Mhm.
traffic, on a bus, on a train, on a combination of bus, train, and traffic to get to the work. And you had to spend money at lunch or pack your lunch.
Mhm.
And you had to spend money on gas and waste your life. And then the
Yep.
pandemic happens, and all it turns out, hey, guess what? Those jobs, they can be
Most.
done from,
Yeah.
yeah, a lot of them. Maybe not all of them as effectively. And maybe there is truth to the fact that if everybody's working on their own schedule versus everybody working in the same time frame from a business standpoint, it does make to have people working together in person
Mhm.
because that's how business works a little bit more efficiently. But there's certain jobs and certain bells that you're not going to be able to unring.
Mhm.
And
I
that's why
agree.
people are quitting jobs in mass
Yeah.
because they are work. There's companies that are steering into the curve and embracing that.
Mhm.
So I don't think we're ever going to go back to a Mad Men office style 40 plus hours a week.
Yeah.
Like I can't imagine. Like the most I would consider working in office is 2 days per week for myself.
Yeah. No. I'm at a office 40 hours and it's fucking debilitating and I'm ready to don't tell my boss, but I'm looking at other options. I'm trying to go telehealth. I want to work remote. Fuck that shit. Who wants to be in an office 40 hours?
All right.
Jesus.
So don't apply at Tesla. Is basically what I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
All right, here's something from your nightmares. Apparently, this is a real close up of a longhorn beetle.
That's not real. No way. Oh, that's cool.
That's what a beetle looks like up close.
Huh.
It looks like something out of a horror movie, obviously.
Fuck yeah.
I mean, if you think about it, most horror or like monster movies are really just pictures of like stuff like little bugs.
Yeah. Yeah, like a
We
recne. I was gonna say, have you seen Love, Death, and Robots?
No, is that
Well,
good?
then, its first season is fucking phenomenal. That's one of the best things I've ever seen. And then season 2 and 3 kind of declined, but I just saw season 3, it just came out. And I guess it's not spoilers, but a lot of the Bumblebee, but a lot of the
Doesn't look
robots
transformer.
are arachne. Arachne?
Uh,
I took 2 shots.
Arachne? Arachne?
Arachni? Yes, it's a bunch of spideys looking things. Beetles, spiders, all that shit. Anyway, that's it.
uh, that
Yeah,
was
but
just
they look like monsters, monstrous things, yes. Very
yeah.
creepy, lots of creepy.
All right, this is another thread that I saw in recently. this was a thread that happened on Reddit in terms of what is the weirdest thing that you had to do at someone else's house because of their culture, religion, and then somebody dropped this. I remember going to my Swedish friend's house, and while we were playing in his room, his mom yelled that dinner was ready. And check this, he told me to wait in his room while they ate. That shit was fucking wild. Uh,
Whoa, that's weird.
I slept over a friend's house. When we woke up, he said he's going downstairs for a few minutes. After about 15 minutes, I go to the stairs to see what the fuck is happening, and they're eating breakfast. They see me and tell me he's almost done and will be up there soon. So this brought an entire conversation out
Interesting.
that was, as a Swede, I can confirm this. I would say the second case with no breakfast is very weird. The first one is very normal. I would also find it weird to feed someone else's kid if they were just over to play. So they made maps of this, like on Twitter. There was an article that was like, "I'm Swedish. It's true that we don't serve food to guests. What's the problem?" So apparently, like, this is a thing that in Sweden, and obviously we grew up in Latino culture where they just shovel food, and
You feed
Italian
everyone.
culture,
Yeah, you're always getting
yeah,
fed.
everybody, like, African American culture, white culture, even, like, there's always, you grew up with the images of TV of the whole chicken in the refrigerator, right? That was a
Yeah.
staple of the sitcom fridge. You open up the fridge and there's always a fucking big ass chicken there.
hmm
So yeah, but how weird is it today? How weird is that to you?
That was fucking weird. Not gonna lie, it took me aback a little bit, and then I thought about it for a minute. So fucking weird. I was like, my first reaction was like, that's fucking rude. But then I'm like, why do I think it's rude? Because it's logical to a certain extent. Like they bought the food. You're not their child. Why must they feed you? Why is that something that in my brain I'm like, no, why didn't you feed them? That's terrible. Like,
No, wait, wait, wait. One time,
what?
my friend invited me and my stepsister to her house after school and told us to bring sandwiches. We waited in her room while she ate a warm cooked meal. Of course, not everyone is like that, but it's not unusual.
That is interesting.
Uh,
Oh, what do you think?
I think it's. I mean, I think it's a weird. I think I
Yes.
grew up. I think in most European, Latin American, American,
Mhm.
African American, Asian for sure. I think guest rights, if we go on Game of Thrones days, is a big deal. So when somebody
Mhm.
shows up, you offer them, the first thing you do is offer them something to eat or
Water or
drink.
something to drink, yeah.
Yeah, coffee. I mean,
Mhm.
I grew up in a time where it was rude if you didn't offer somebody a cigarette like that. Like,
Mhm.
that's how old I am. Like, people would, hey, cigarette, cigarette. No, I'm good. I don't. So and if my friends were over, they were getting fed.
Yeah.
It would be
Same.
it would be one thing if, um let's say you had your friend over but your mom didn't know, and then she brought like Subway sandwiches,
And
but
yeah, and then it's like, "Oh my god," but then it's like the
I didn't
shame, like, "I'm so
but
sorry, I
then,
had no
yeah,
idea."
but most
Yeah.
most parents would like give you a piece of their sandwich or give you or
Mhm.
they would make you share your sandwich, like.
Mhm.
And if you and I don't see, they would be like, "Hey Jimmy, we're about to have dinner, uh do you want to come and join us?" Right.
Mhm. Yeah.
Hmm.
Interesting. I did not know that about Swedes. That's but it makes sense too. Like, I don't know.
And I guess some of the
Is it cold? Yeah, but I think it makes sense.
My yeah, and then yeah, this is this guy says, my Mexican brain is short circuiting at this.
Yeah, I was like, "Ugh."
Not only are we going to feed our guests, we're going to overfeed them. We're going to give them the best part of whatever we have, especially kids. How are you going to not feed a kid in your house? My Italian brain agrees on every point.
Mhm.
You know, yeah. So basically, everybody is, yeah, everybody was like, people just could not comprehend it.
Yeah.
It was hilarious. And then the funniest part was like the Swedes just sort of, this thread broke my brain. Yeah, I was going through it. It was definitely
Yeah.
kind of like this week on the internet.
Yeah.
Swedes.
Swedes. Apparently they don't feed their guests. Good to
Apparently,
know. I'll go with the full belly next time to a Swedish
yeah.
house.
If you're gonna go to Sweden,
Go with
or
the
if
full
you
belly, you guys.
if you get an option next time you're up at the reincarnation desk, then
Mhm.
just be like, just not Sweden, because I want to
Not
get
Sweden.
fed.
Yeah.
I don't want to get
But
fed.
they also get like fucking Medicare for all, free healthcare, free college, free everything. So I'll take it, man. You don't have to
The
feed me.
the and the
That's not
reasoning
Sweden.
is like, they feel that it's rude to like imply that you know what somebody wants to feed their kids, maybe,
Yeah.
or
Maybe, and
or
then or it's rude to send your kid off to your friend's house without having fed them yourself, like parents, you know?
I
I
think a
don't know.
lot of it also was like I wouldn't want somebody else to feed my kids. I want to know what they're eating or
Oh, that's
something.
an interesting point. Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know
yeah.
why they themselves were.
Yeah.
Uh, is that what is it? What is the thing about like Sweden, and is it Sweden or Switzerland? I think it's both.
Uh-huh.
That the Vikings from there would only take like the blondest, prettiest women when they would be pillaging,
Mhm.
and that's why Swedish girls are like so hot, or right? Is that the rumor?
I mean,
That
wouldn't that be the same for everything though?
well, I think more countries were just more lenient with who they took. You know, they were
Okay,
like
let's
they
move
were
on from this
they were like
topic. Damn.
I think that yeah, the Swedish Vikings were like eights and up, and everybody else was like,
Yeah,
solid
I'll take
fours
the
and up. We'll
fives.
take them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll take them. Yeah.
take a four. There's no
Jesus.
tens, so grab 5 2s.
Yeah, there you go.
I
Okay,
thought
sorry,
this
my
might be
dog wants
interesting.
to play.
No, let him play. All right, so
Okay.
this was
All right, how many more do we have? You said 10.
yeah, almost a,
Control yourself with your tab addiction. What is that?
all right,
Hello?
I'll skip this one. I'll skip this one. This was more of an audio one, so I don't know if it makes sense. It was just I was listening to some old Stern clips the other day, and I heard them talking about the internet, and the way they talked about it was just so hilarious to me because they're like, and then there's these things called articles, and then there's these webs, and I was just like laughing my ass off. But I don't think it's that relevant. Okay, the last couple of things that I have here.
Mhm.
We're almost done here.
Almost it.
This week's sign that nothing really matters because it could all be over in a second.
Our whole
Uh,
pod.
Russian Alexei threatens U.S. destruction with Satan 2 missiles. Basically, a Russian official was giving a conversation and said that all it would take was 4 missiles to destroy the U.S., 2 missiles for the East Coast, 2 missiles for the West Coast, and they would all be over. Uh, uh, yeah, and he said that the mushroom cloud could be seen from Mexico. So,
Oh.
so
Seen. I am
this
by
is
the border. Does that mean I go to TJ and I'm safe?
well, no, because we live San Diego's as a military target, so we're fucked.
Yeah, yeah, we're
Anyway,
fucked.
that's just this week's reminder to not take things too seriously because we are a race of imperfect humans who, instead of living in peace and harmony, decided to create fake trauma and drama for ourselves, create industries where we needed money instead of just giving
Mhm.
each other stuff, created a rat race, and created arguments between people and places so that we have reasons to kill each other, class systems,
Yay,
caste systems.
humans.
And not only on that, but we're all stuck to a rock by a magic force called gravity,
Yes.
traveling through a vast void of space that is infinite, that we never know when it started or when it's going to end or why it even exists, surrounded by an infinite number of other small clusters, all hovering around their own little private fireballs. And somehow that makes sense. So this is
Cool.
just a reminder to not take anything too seriously because who the fuck knows what this whole experiment is anyway? We
We're
could
all
be in a
stuck in
simulation.
the
We could be
fucking
in we
matrix.
could yeah. We could be. I'm not 100% saying we're not in a simulation.
Yeah.
We
And we're all
could.
gonna die.
We're all yeah. Nobody's alive on purpose.
Cool.
We're all gonna die. So
Love
let's
it.
just love each other, create some art, and try to get along better and have good experiences while we're here.
Aw.
And that's this sign. So this was the most predictable news, and then I have no namez. Ian McGregor defends Obi-Wan Kenobi co-star Moses Ingram from toxic fans. So her character in the Obi-Wan series, I don't know if you've caught it on Disney yet.
Nope.
Are you caught up? Well, basically,
Nope.
she plays one of the Inquisitors in the Obi-Wan series. Basically, they work for Darth Vader trying to seek out Jedis. She, as you happen to know, is African American. And for Star Wars fanboys, somehow the same group of people that thought that there couldn't be black stormtroopers also feel that there can't be black Inquisitors for some fucking idiotic reason in space.
All
Um,
right. All right.
so it was pretty evident that when the show dropped, she started getting racist messages on social media and stuff to the point where Ewan McGregor had to come out and give a video, personal message from him, where he said basically, if you're a Star Wars fan and you're sending messages to this actress, she has a murder boner the fucking size of fucking Florida though in that show. I kind of like her character a lot because she's kind of a badass and very ruthless. Like she's chopping people's hands off. She's a cool character. So again, this is kind of just do better, people. Don't be fucking a racist piece of shit. It's
Yeah.
just a fucking TV show. The people change. The reason people get cast in shows changes. It's not all about your sensibilities. Relax, just fucking watch the show or watch something else, you know.
Yeah.
Watch the whitest show there is if this is something that
Yeah, there
bothers
you
you.
go. Little House on the Prairie, I hear is good.
Did you?
Yeah, it's good. Yeah. I'm just saying, if you want an all-white cast, there's a lot of shows you can watch. You don't have to be watching this one.
From the good old days.
Yeah.
There's even one where the minorities are played by white people. There's a bunch of
Yeah,
that too.
see,
If
there's a
you're-
lot
if
of
you're-
content for y'all out
There's-
there,
there's-
racist.
there's a lot of-
Racist, you guys. There's decades and centuries of content for you. You just
Yeah,
gotta look for it. It's okay though. You'll be fine. It's okay.
All right. And our unsolicited advice column, No Namez Way.
No
is-
namez way. We
No
need like a
namez way.
segue. We need like an intro.
we
Pew,
have-
pew, 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 pew.
All right.
There we go.
And I have one last thing for the end, just because it might be copyrighted material. So in case they take us off the air, it's at the end. I didn't want to do it at the beginning.
Okay.
What is so here are the two questions that we had. This first one is from is my new boo a real boo? And they ask sorry, they need one more sip of water here before I do this.
Okay.
Dear Sophia and Big Chief, I got out of a long-term and marginally abusive relationship that was kept going by the pandemic. Basically, it was like, I can't go meet anyone else right now, so I'm staying with this asshole to have someone around for fun. But he was self-obsessed piece of shit who cheated on me and gaslit me and even gave me COVID when he lied about going out during the mass days to be with his dumb friends. It's been 5 months now, and I met a new guy who seems to be very nice, but I'm still shell-shocked from the previous idiot. So I don't believe him when he says he doesn't need to see other girls and that I am all he needs. He might be too romantic or love bombing me, or he could just be a really good guy. What can I do to figure out which is this? And how do you get over being gaslit in a previous relationship?
Whew. Sheesh. Oh my God. How do
Si-
you get over
signed
trauma? Okay,
Is
great.
my new boo a real boo?
Okay. Thank you. Is my new boo a real boo? Jesus. How do you get past trauma from your past relationships? I'm still trying to figure that out. Oh my God. Here's the problem. The problem is we can't assume the worst from people, and it gets fucking exhausting dating. Yeah, because how can you?
The only
I
the
hate
only
it.
thing
I
I would-
hate it. It's like a time will tell thing, and I hate myself for saying that. But
Well, here's the one thing that I'll say about that is that if you're talking about somebody who maybe hasn't self-examined or self-analyzed or has literally gone to therapy to sort of figure out kind of the type of people she's attracted to or they're attracted to, then you might find yourself as someone who keeps being attracted to the same sort of type of people. So if you like assholes, and you have, and there's things in your life that make you like assholes or the abusers or something like that, then subconsciously you might be seeking out people that are like that, even if the last one was. So depending on how you feel about your mental health well-being and whether or not you've diagnosed that or at least sort of analyzed that, there is a percentage of that you should scare you, because there is a chance that you might have picked somebody that also had those same traits, right?
yeah, no, definitely. And then there's also something to be said about like you shouldn't be dating when you're not ready or fully healed from your past trauma, because all that does is just fucking create more hurt people. You're either think about it, you're either gonna get hurt because this person is gaslighting you and love bombing you and trying to abuse you, right? Hypothetically. Or you're gonna hurt him because you're assuming the worst and that's gonna come out through some form of abuse. And maybe you're pushing away a very lovely man who actually is very interested in you. So either way, your trauma is gonna play a part in this. And either you're gonna be the hurt that causes him to be a worse person or vice versa. So my biggest advice is don't go into relationships until you are healed and you have done the self reflection that Lou has talked about. Because then we just keep creating more and more hurt people. I am currently taking a break from dating because I am traumatized. Yeah. And same thing. I look at someone that's like amazing and they come into my life and I'm like, oh no. And
Yeah.
so I don't know, maybe just I don't know, take some time to yourself or really, really analyze yourself and this other human being. I think the more you get to know them, maybe poco a poquito, just like get to know them slowly because you don't have to jump to moving in together right away. Get to know
Mhm.
each other slowly. Give them the benefit of the doubt, but not too much. Be cautious as well. There's some shitty people out here.
Okay, so I have practical advice, and then I also have the perspective of the guy, right?
Okay.
So from the guy's perspective, there is issues that arise from dating somebody that was previously dating a piece of shit or somebody that was abusive, or you never want to be the first guy that a girl dates after she got out of a manic possessive fighting relationship. It's just
Oh yeah.
there's a lot to overcome. There's like so much that you have to overcome to be, and you're gonna end, and what you're gonna end up doing is spreading yourself thin, trying too hard, um, and then you're gonna try to overcompensate that by being overly romantic, or because if you date somebody in that scenario and they're still not fully healed, or they're trying to get back into it, or they're un clavo saca otro clavo kind of thing,
Hmm.
and you're trying to be like that knight in shining armor at the end, it doesn't work out well for you.
No,
You're
not at all.
entering a world of pain. And
Yeah. Sorry. Go
and
ahead.
and and last time we talked about what the equivalent of like don't stick your dick in stupid, and you correctly pointed out that for women it's don't get murdered, because the degree of difficulty in a woman going out there and dealing with men is that one of the areas where men get into dangerous situations like that is not through the dangerous women, but through the men that dangerous women have in
Have
their
dated.
life.
Yeah, that too.
So one of the ways that you can get, like, there was a thing, yeah, there's like two stories that I remember from the last month. One of them, guy cut his girl talking to somebody at work, and he ended up killing him and making her chop his head off and bury the body. And there was another thing in New York recently. Um, well, that was, but there's been countless. This happens, like, a guy starts seeing a girl, OJ Simpson's wife, the guy that she was with, a
Hmm.
young, a Goldman guy. Like one of the areas as a man where you can fuck yourself up is by being with a woman who has been with a psychotic person.
Yeah.
So from a male point of view, that's kind of a big red flag, obviously. And you never want to be the first guy that has to try to tackle that.
Hmm.
You just better just don't waste your time there.
Hmm.
The practical advice for her is a loyalty test.
Okay. What does that
Get
entail?
get one of your, like, get your horniest friend.
Oh my
Uh,
God. No, don't do that. Stop. Don't. Just it's
I'm
easier
saying
not to
I'm
date.
saying I'm saying if we're actually trying to give out practical bad advice, if you
Okay.
really want a solution to how can you figure this out,
Yeah.
is you have to set up some sort of, you got to get diabolical with it, set up some sort of loyalty test, cut your hair in a dramatic fashion, make him prove that he's still, you know what I'm saying, get a face tattoo. So, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, definitely do that one. Yeah.
start off with a neck tattoo. Say, hey, I'm getting a neck tattoo tomorrow. What do you think? Wait, let off some red flags, see how he
Yeah.
reacts. If he
But
bails right away, then he wasn't really that serious. If he sticks around or tries to figure out what's wrong with you, then maybe he's got his heart in the right place.
don't do any of that. But yeah, that too.
All right, and the last one we have is, let me see what we have. Okay, give me a second here.
Hmm.
The next one is if you were being completely honest about yourself and talking to somebody about possibly dating you, what are your red flags that a potential partner should be aware of? Signed, Sophia Stan.
Aw. Wait, who the fuck is that? Why are you calling me out, bitch?
Sophia Stan.
Sophia Stan. Are these my friends that are like bullying me on air?
So
Wait, what was
what
the question? What are the red flags?
if you were being honest, kind of looking at yourself from a third person perspective,
Mm,
and you were talking about somebody about dating? Hey, you thinking about dating Lou? You thinking about dating Sophia? Well,
mm.
here's the red flag. Here's the thing you should be. Here's. I'm trying to see what my red flag is.
Okay.
You want to go first?
Sure. I have trauma from my past relationship. I have somewhat commitment issues. I am not super like loyal to the unconditional point. If there are certain things that you do that piss me off, I will cut you
Self-report.
off. What else?
This is just trying to get us to self-report. What the hell's going on here?
No, I know who the fuck wrote this. Calling my ass out. No, I'm perfect, you guys. I'm really amazing in a relationship and you should date me.
My red flag is I love too hard.
Yeah, I'm too great at
I'm too
listening.
generous.
I'm too good a communicator.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I love too much.
I
I
I
give
I,
more than myself and
I always share
yeah,
my French fries.
I give too many orgasms. So, it's a detriment really.
Sophia, aka the Scissor King. Is that what they call you in the streets?
Jesus, that's exactly what they call me in the streets and in the sheets.
The Scissor King.
Who asked this? Oh my god.
Sophia
COVID.
Stan. Sophia Stan. Sorry.
Who the fuck is
Uh,
that?
um. Okay, so mine would be
Narcissist?
yeah, I am a borderline narcissist OCD.
Okay.
And that OCD narcissism mixed with jealousy is at times a volatile combination. And
Gotcha.
even though I am a reformed sexist, as I have admitted in the past, I've never been physically abusive in my life, but I since I am a narcissist and I sometimes manage people rather than have honest relationships with them, I sort of manage my relationship with people at times, which I try to
You can like
consciously not do
manipulate.
anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tried. I had a tendency early on to use my power for not good but evil. So I feel that I have been manipulative in previous relationships when I was young, like just in my early 20s and whatever. I thought I
Hmm.
was like so, but I think I'm mostly over that. But sometimes that does sort of um, rear its ugly head in the form of some residual machismo and
Yeah.
possibly and jealousy. Because I'm not perfect, but I
You
am
have
sort
become
of.
insanely self-aware though since I've known you.
Yeah, yeah. I think that I have grown a lot recently and slowly, and then I have bouts of growth, and then be like people. We're not
Yeah.
perfect, right?
Nah.
We're not taking it too serious. But thank you very much, Sophia Stan, and what was the previous one?
Love you.
Was oh, is my new boo a real boo? Thank you
Thank you both.
both for listening and for watching. And then finally, and we'll be wrapping this up, I want to remind everybody that if you want to contribute to 2AM Burrito and the MiGente Show, we do have a Patreon page,
Mhm.
2AM Burrito. We create podcasts, live stream movies. We will be creating a new film soon here. And for as little as $5 a month, you can join and contribute to us continuing to create content. It is new. We'll be continuing to update that as well.
Mhm.
I also am proud to be a member of the Flynn Brothers Studio. You can look up Flynn Brothers Studio in Miramar, and we will be producing projects there. It is my new business endeavor. I'm a partner in the endeavor. I'm in charge of sales and client management. So if you need production space in the greater California, North County, most likely area, please don't hesitate to give me a call.
Yes, sir.
For you, Sophia, there is something that I'm going to share with you, but also share with us. The Spotlight Dorado is a McDonald's thing for storytelling. It's a program where you can submit films and then be mentored. The reason I thought this was interesting for you is one of the mentors is your girl.
Oh my god. Okay.
So I'm going to
I'll
send you.
submit.
I'm gonna
Send
send
me
you
the
this
link.
link. I'm gonna send you this link. But obviously, we share this with all our peoples. If we have any Latinx, Latino writers,
Hmm.
I'll put that in the chat, and then I'll send it to you via private chat as well.
Thank
And
you,
then,
sir.
and then
So
that way you
kind
can
of
enter.
you to think of me.
All right. And then in honor of Pride Month, one of the things that I think
Mhm.
is has changed recently, and the reason I say this is because it's a movie trailer for a movie that's coming out.
Mhm.
Billy Eichner is a rom com. It's a gay rom com. All right.
Mhm.
It's called Bros. I didn't know it existed, but apparently it's coming out soon. So I wanted to get your reaction because even though we were talking earlier about Pride Month and sort of how things go up and down, and whereas people were confident to come out recently, it might be turning the other way. Where there's, I don't know if there's more of it, but there's a lot more vocal homophobia and anti,
Mhm.
things going on.
Yeah.
Um, but I thought it was interesting when you said that I had this clip that I didn't use on a previous episode. That is pretty interesting in terms of kind of the fact that, well, I'll let you watch it and then you can answer whether you think this is genuinely something that was made, or maybe do you think it was something that was like um, done, like they said, because they felt they should, or whether
Okay.
it's just the advancement of the time. All right. So
Okay.
this is a trailer for Bros. I think it's called Bros.
Believer, and welcome to your favorite podcast where I talk about whatever I feel like talking about. So these big movie producers came to me and said, "We want you to write a rom-com about a gay couple. Something a straight guy might even like and watch with his girlfriend."
Gay guys are my jam.
Something a straight guy might like? Am I going to be in the middle of some high-speed chase, then all of a sudden fall in love with Ice Cube? Am I going
Yeah.
to be by Jason Momoa while we're orienting a volcano?
Something like that.
They said, "We just
Yep.
want a movie that shows the world that gay relationships and straight relationships are the same. Love is love is love." I said, "Love is love is love." No, it's not. That is bullshit. Our friendships are different. I have to go to a party. You're too old to be in the pool. Please leave. Our sex lives are different. Ass pick? Don't have ass pick. Must see pick of ass. Took this just for you, bro. Did he block me? Our relationships are different. This is Bisexual Awareness Week, and no one has acknowledged it. Lesbian History Month was in March. Nobody said a goddamn thing. Of course, lesbians get a month and we get a week. I don't want Hollywood bullshit. No scenes where two guys are about to hook up, and all of a sudden the camera conveniently pulls away.
Mhm.
Oh. This is nice meeting you. Yeah, you too. It was lovely. I don't know. My whole life, I prided myself on being self-reliant. What is going on with you? This motherfucker has gone into my head. What are you into? One of these fucking ripped idiots with no opinions? No, I'd like someone who's physically very frail and won't stop talking. Maybe you both bottoms and that's a problem. Oh my god. Gay sex was more fun when straight people were uncomfortable with it. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm not the right person to write a rom-com anyway. How do you guys
Okay.
remember straight people? Yeah, they had a nice run.
Oh man, who wrote this? Was it Billy Eichner?
Yeah, Billy Eichner.
Okay. Yeah.
What did you think?
What was the question? I thought it was, I mean, it looks funny. It looks like a gay person wrote it. Like it looks like it's gonna have a lot of little funny inside jokes for the community and fucking little offensive also like in between because there's a lot of infighting in the LGBT community. So I feel like yeah, it's gonna have a lot of that. So I don't know. Yeah. What was your question though initially?
Well, no. But I mean, is this a symbol more of progress, or is this a symbol of like taking advantage of like of that?
Oh, I see. Yeah, yeah. Or like corporate, all that
Because
stuff.
this is like the first real. I mean, I don't think there's ever been a commercially like
Hmm.
promoted major motion picture that's been a rom com but a gay
Yeah.
rom-com.
Yeah,
Except
yeah. No, I would say that just initially from looking at the trailer, which is all I can go off of, it seems like it's a good thing. It seems like it's
Mhm.
progress. I don't know. I felt like I like Billy Eichner, and there I saw a lot of actors, queer actors there, and a lot of the jokes are jokes that I laughed at, and you kind of maybe didn't, and it's like it feels like it was made for the queer community so far.
Yeah, no,
So
I've seen it before too. So I mean, when I first watched it, I thought it was hilarious. So
yeah,
I did no, I mean, yeah, there was some stuff that maybe it was
yeah,
like I don't know, like if I'm looking at it from the heterosexual perspective
hmm,
and like the machismo, like would be like, I want to see a movie with guys sucking each other off, like,
yeah,
oh, like, but I think I don't even say like I could sit through it because then it feels like
yeah.
I'm like judging it because of the time.
Like,
It
well, I
looks
have
like a
to.
good it looks like a good movie. As a
Yeah.
filmmaker, it looks like a quality rom-com.
Yeah, and the thing is we don't get not even a lot of those. We don't get any of those.
Mhm,
Like if you think about all the fucking films that I had to sit through seeing straight people hump each other
mhm.
or kiss each other or have a relationship or fall in love, and it's like queer people don't get any of that. So,
Or like
yay,
have
we have one.
like
Huh?
even though I love Kevin Smith, Chasing Amy, he is sort of fetishizing lesbians.
Lesbianism, yeah. So it's like I can count the amount of lesbian films that I can count that are not gratuitous and actually like good are probably like I can count them on one hand. So,
Although Bound is the shit. Have you watched Bound yet?
is that the one with Gina Gershon?
Yeah, did you end up watching that? You need to
I
put that one
did.
back
I
on.
didn't. I've seen some scenes. Is it good? I don't know. Is it good? I feel like it would be gratuitous, but I'll watch it. I love Gina
I mean,
Gershon.
it's Gina Gershon and Jennifer Tilly getting it
Yeah.
on.
Oh,
With
yeah, I have seen the sex scene. Yeah, that's definitely gratuitous, but I haven't seen the whole movie, so I don't know if they fall in love. I don't know what the fucking story
eh,
arc is. I think she's like a
eh,
plumber. She's like a plumber or some shit. I don't know. It felt like porny to me.
Yeah, it felt yeah, I guess it was like it was not necessarily like a true love, but it was sort of
Yeah.
like a in the moment damsel in distress type
Yeah.
of
It
deal.
felt really porny to me, and I was just like, all right, well,
I don't
cool.
know. It's decent. I think it's above
Yeah.
porny. It has a decent script. It's got some
Okay,
other
but
decent
above
act
porny is as good as we can get. So
so
I'm
far.
excited to see this one then.
Yeah, but like Chasing Amy, like he's dating a lesbian, so they're fetishizing lesbianism,
Mhm.
and it's like
Yeah.
she's like, and then everything else is just like the gay best friend or the gym teacher or something
Mhm.
else like that. So
All
yeah,
very tropey.
as a filmmaker, I saw that and I was like, oh, okay. It didn't register to me that it was like, oh, this is a comedy. This is funny. It didn't register to me. I was like, oh, this is gay or this is too gay or this is
Mhm.
it felt like just a good comedy.
Yeah.
That's the story happens to be about a gay guy trying to find love, which
Mhm.
fine
I'm
by me.
excited. Yeah, I love Billy Eichner. I think if he wrote it, it should be good. So
Yeah.
I
So
have high expectations. You've already seen it. I need to watch it.
oh, of the movie, I've seen the movie yet.
Yeah. Oh, okay, okay. I thought you
No, the
already.
movie's coming out. The movie's coming out at some point,
Mm.
but it hasn't. I haven't seen the full movie, but we should watch it. I'll watch it.
Let's go. Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's
Well, I
go.
wanted to end on a positive
Yes.
pride notes since we were
Yeah.
talking about so many up and down and sad topics.
Mhm.
225, 2.5 hours, as we said.
Decent.
Decent, fair to mild. Thank you to everybody that stuck around, stopped by,
Yes. Thank you
follows
so much
us.
for coming and for
Come,
doing the advice column.
yeah, and thank you for everybody that listens to the podcast as well. Across all platforms, we appreciate everybody that listens. I get messages all the time, etc. And I see that people listen to on various types of platform, whether it's Spotify or Bullhorn or
Mhm.
Pandora, iTunes, everything,
Yes.
Google. So I appreciate everybody that listens, and thank you very much for sticking around today.
Mhm.
Mi Gente Show. Peace out.
Thank you. Hasta luego.